dear beloved friend, as the first light of morning gently brushes the horizon, and the world still lies quiet beneath the hush of dawn, I invite you to pause and simply breathe. This is not just another sunrise. This is sacred ground. The stillness of early morning is unlike any other time. It carries a whisper of eternity. The sky is painted in soft gold. The air is cool and unspoken. And your heart, though wary, has somehow been drawn here. In this very moment, you have been invited not by chance, but by grace. Somewhere right now, perhaps not far from where you are, a woman sits on the edge of her bed. The night had been long. She did not sleep. Her body aches from anxiety that tightens her chest like a silent grip. Her eyes are red, not just from fatigue, but from holding back tears that have been begging to fall. She has prayed before, or at least tried to, but lately the words do not come. There was a time when faith felt like fire in her bones, but now it flickers low, dim, uncertain. The grief she carries is invisible to most, but not to the one who sees through walls and skin and silence. Maybe she just lost someone. Maybe a diagnosis has shaken her life into pieces. Or maybe, like so many of us, she is simply exhausted from being strong for too long. And yet, she sits there, in the stillness, waiting. For what? She is not sure. But there is a sense that something holy hovers close in the quiet. Something that does not demand eloquence, performance, or perfection. Something, or rather, someone who is ready to meet her not in her strength, but in her surrender. If you find your own heart somewhere in that story, tired, anxious, maybe even a little afraid, know that you are not alone. Pain wears many faces. Loss comes in many forms. But one truth remains unshaken through every storm. Every heartbreak, every silence. You are seen. You are deeply loved. And you have not been forgotten. This morning, I invite you into something more than a routine. I invite you into a journey, a conversation, not of religion, but of relationship. You do not need fancy words or flawless faith. You just need a heart that is willing to be real, a heart that dares to hope again, even if that hope is just a whisper. Prayer is not a performance. It is not a speech. It is a posture of the soul, open, vulnerable, surrendered. It is the language of the brokenhearted and the brave, and it is heard by the God who bends low to listen. You might be coming here with burdens too heavy to carry alone. You may be facing fears that make the future feel unbearable, or perhaps you are holding on to just enough strength to whisper, "Help me." Whatever has brought you here, I want you to know this faith is not the absence of fear. It is the choice to trust even when you cannot yet see. And this morning, that choice begins with one step: opening your heart. Let this time be a sanctuary for your soul. Let these words be more than sentences. Let them be your cry, your comfort, your connection to the one who holds all things together. There is healing ahead. There is peace waiting to be discovered. There is hope, yes, even now. So take a breath. Let the weight fall from your shoulders for a while. and allow yourself to be led not by pressure, but by peace. The morning has come, and with it, so has mercy. Let us begin. Dear Heavenly Father, I woke up this morning, and though the sun is rising and the sky is stretching wide with color, my heart feels like a quiet, hollow room. The world outside stirs, but inside me, everything is still in a way that does not feel peaceful, but empty. I am here, but I feel far away from everything that once made sense. The warmth of joy, the strength of purpose, the fire of hope all seem to have faded like stars at dawn. I do not have eloquent words. I do not have the energy to pretend, but I have breath, and I am using it now to speak to you. There is a weight I cannot name pressing down on my chest. Maybe it is sadness I have pushed away. Maybe it is the ache of 1,000 silent disappointments. Maybe it is fear dressed as fatigue. I am not sure anymore. I only know that my soul is tired, and I cannot carry this heaviness alone. There was a time I came to you full of songs and praises. Today I come with silence and sighs, and I hope that somehow that is still enough. Father, I do not know how I wandered so far, but it feels like the distance between us has grown. I know in my mind that you are near, but my heart feels disconnected. I used to feel your presence in small things, the wind, the light, the quiet, but now I feel numb. Even the beauty of the morning struggles to move me. I wonder if you still reach for hearts like mine, the ones that can no longer shout, but only whisper. I wonder if you still meet souls that barely have the strength to pray. I come to you not because I feel worthy, but because I have nowhere else to turn. You are the only place I have ever found rest, even when I did not deserve it. I bring you nothing but my emptiness, and I ask, can you fill what is hollow? Can you heal what feels distant? I do not want to perform. I do not want to say the right words. I only want to be real with you, even if all I have is brokenness. Lord, I miss you. That is the truth behind all my confusion. Beneath the numbness, beneath the silence, is a longing I can no longer hide. I miss the peace that used to flood my heart like morning light. I miss the sound of hope inside me, the assurance that I am held. I miss believing that you hear me when I speak. I want to return to that place, not because everything is fixed, but because you are there. I do not ask for answers today. I do not ask for the pain to vanish or the fear to be erased. I only ask that you stay near. Be near to me, even if I cannot feel it. Be near in the emptiness. Be near in the stillness. If all I can do today is sit in silence, then let it be silence shared with you. If all I can offer is a broken heart, then let it be a heart placed in your hands. You said in your word that you are close to the brokenhearted. I want to believe that is still true. I want to believe that my fragile faith is not too small for you to notice. I want to believe that even now, as I speak into the quiet, you are leaning close. So I will keep speaking, not because I feel brave, but because I refuse to let go of the hope that you are still listening. Help me not to run from the emptiness, but to bring it to you. Help me not to hide what I feel, but to lay it bare in your presence. Help me to stop pretending I am strong when I am not. Help me to be honest with you, because I know you do not despise my weakness. You do not turn away from trembling hands or tear-filled eyes. You do not need me to be perfect. You only want me to come. This morning is quiet, but I believe that quiet does not mean forgotten. I believe that you move even in the stillness. I believe that the seeds of healing are being planted even now, even if I cannot yet see the growth. I believe that you are tending to my soul the way a gardener tends to a wilted flower with care, with patience, with gentleness. You see beyond what others see. You see past what I feel. You see the roots. You see the awareness. And you love me still. I give you the first moments of this day, not because I feel ready, but because I need you. I need you more than I need understanding. I need you more than I need a solution. I need you more than I need comfort. I just need you, your presence, your voice, your nearness. That alone is enough to make the morning sacred. Let this be the beginning of my return, not to a feeling, but to you. Let this be the first of many small steps back to the place where my heart is steady and my faith is alive. Even if I do not feel it now, I trust that you are already at work. Even if the tears do not fall, even if the numbness remains, even if the ache stays a little longer, I choose to believe that you are good and you are here. Thank you for not requiring me to come full, but allowing me to come empty. Thank you for waiting through the silence, for listening through the confusion, for holding me even when I forget how to reach for you. This morning I choose to stay close. I choose to be still. I choose to let you meet me here in the hollow places. And I choose to believe that healing begins with honesty. So here I am. I am yours. Father, if I spoke from my heart yesterday in silence, today I find myself trembling with a sound I can no longer hold back. It is not loud. It is not graceful. It is a cry that rises from a place deeper than my thoughts, deeper than logic or understanding. I do not even know what words I am forming, but I know they come from longing. Something in me is reaching for you with more desperation than I expected, like a child lost in the dark calling out just to be found. Yesterday I offered you my emptiness. Today, I offer you my anguish. I thought I had grown too tired to feel this much, but in the quiet that followed, the ache inside me found its voice. I am not trying to be strong right now. I am not trying to appear whole. I just want to be known in the place where no one sees me. Lord, I need to know if you still see me. There are moments too many when I move through the world like a shadow. I speak, but I wonder if anyone truly hears. I walk into rooms and feel like a ghost. I smile, but it does not reach the loneliness beneath my ribs. People ask how I am, and I give them something simple. They would not know what to do with the truth, and I do not always know how to say it anyway. But you, God, you see what they do not. You see the person beneath the performance. You see the tears I swallow and the hopes I silence. So I come to you as I am, fragile and overwhelmed. I do not ask for an audience. I do not need a crowd. I need a moment with you, just you. I do not know if this cry is too quiet, too broken, too late, but I send it up anyway. I send it up through the noise, through the numbness, Through the layers I have built to protect myself, I cry out not because I have confidence in my voice, but because I have hope in yours, God. There is pain I have carried alone, because I believed no one would understand. There are memories I avoid because they still sting. There are dreams I stopped speaking aloud because I was tired of disappointment. But right now, in this sacred morning, I open those places to you. If you are the God who sees, then look into the corners where I hide. If you are the God who listens, then hear this cry that I can no longer silence. It is not just sorrow, though sorrow is there. It is not just fear, though it lingers near. It is the longing to be found, to be known, to be loved not just in my strength, but in my struggle. I want to know I matter not because of what I do, but because I am yours. I want to know that my voice carries weight in heaven, even when it is lost on earth. I want to believe that even when I whisper, you listen like it is thunder. Sometimes I imagine you walking through a crowded place, turning toward the one who does not call out the loudest, but the one who needs you most. And I hope that today, that could be me. I hope that you are the kind of God who looks into the chaos and locks eyes with the forgotten. I hope you notice me now, sitting here in my weariness, calling out with nothing polished, nothing perfect, just need. I cry out because I believe that being seen by you changes things. It does not erase the past, but it rewrites what the pain means. It does not remove every storm, but it anchors me through them. It does not give me all the answers, but it reminds me that I am not invisible to the one who made me. If I am seen, then I am not abandoned. If I am heard, then I am not forgotten. Lord, meet me in this cry. Meet me not with lightning and thunder, but with the quiet confirmation that you are near. I do not ask for miracles to prove you are with me. I only ask that you speak to my soul in a way I can feel. Whisper something that touches the ache I cannot explain. Breathe into this raw place and remind me why I keep coming back to you, even when my hope feels fragile. I know I am not the only one who feels like this. Somewhere, someone else is whispering through tears, unsure if it matters. Remind us both, in ways only you can, that our cries are not wasted. Every sigh is gathered. Every groan is interpreted. Every whispered plea is translated into the language of heaven. You are not a distant king who demands only strong prayers. You are a loving Father who leans close to broken ones. I do not want to run from this ache anymore. If this pain is the road that leads me back to you, then I will walk it, even if my steps are unsteady. If this longing is what keeps me near your heart, then let it remain until I find wholeness in you. Let this cry not be the end of my strength, but the beginning of something new, a raw and honest relationship where I do not have to hide the mess to be loved. I cry because I want more. I want more of you. Not just the comfort you give, but the closeness you offer. I want to know you in the places I never invited you before. I want to stop pretending I have to earn your affection. I want to live as someone already loved, already seen, already held. So if I have to cry, let it be before you. If I must unravel, let it be in your hands. If I must reach into the unknown, let it be toward your presence. You are the only one who can hold this part of me without turning away. You are the only one who can see this pain and still call me beautiful. I cried out, not knowing what would come back to me. But I sense it now, not words, not visions, but a quiet awareness that I am not alone. Something has shifted. Not everything is fixed, but something in me is no longer hidden. You have heard. You have received what I could barely speak, and that alone is enough for now. That alone makes me brave enough to keep coming. Lord, in the stillness that followed my cry, I found myself surrounded not by silence, but by memory. It came quietly, a breeze through an open window when invited but welcome. And suddenly, I remembered. I remembered the times you were near, not in theory, but in ways I could feel. I remembered the warmth that filled my chest when I whispered your name and knew, without a doubt, that you were already listening. I remembered the way peace would come not like a flood, but like light spilling softly across a dark room. I did not expect this after emptiness and broken cries. I did not expect to find comfort in remembering, but here it is, rising from somewhere deep inside me like an old song I forgot I knew. And it does not make everything right, but it does remind me that what I am searching for now, I have known before, that the one I seek is not a stranger. You are not unfamiliar to me, God. You have held me before. You have rescued me before. You have spoken me in ways I could never explain, but could never deny. There was a moment, I see it clearly now, when I stood on the edge of despair. And you came without being called. You calmed my racing heart without saying a word. You wrapped me in peace when I did not even ask for it. I remember how the weight I carried for days lifted in a single moment of surrender, as if you were just waiting for me to finally let go. That memory is more than comfort. It is proof. It is the evidence I need this morning that you are who you say you are. Father, I confess that I forget too easily. Life moves fast. Pain speaks loud. Fear steals my focus. And in the noise, I forget the faithfulness that has carried me. But you never forget me. You never stop reaching, even when I stop noticing. And somehow, even now, you use memory like a thread to pull me back to the place where I can see clearly again. Not everything has changed since yesterday, but something inside me has softened. It is as if my heart is waking up to what it once knew, and dares to believe it could know again. I remember walking through dark places and feeling your presence like a quiet fire beside me. I remember mornings when I opened my eyes and felt joy before my feet touched the floor. I remember moments in worship when the tears flowed without shame, because I knew I was safe with you. I remember prayers answered in ways I never expected, and comfort that came not by changing the situation, but by changing me. These are not distant stories. They are mine. They are the stones of remembrance I now pick up from the river of my soul. I lay them before you, one by one, like an altar of gratitude, not because everything is easy today, but because you were faithful yesterday. And I believe, somehow, that who you were then, you still are now. God, thank you for reminding me. Thank you for bringing light into places where darkness was starting to convince me it would always win. Thank you for showing me that my present pain not erase the truth of our past together. In remembering, I am reminded that I did not arrive here by accident. I have been carried, guided, pursued, and loved, even when I wandered. You did not give up on me, even when I resisted. You waited, even when I doubted. You stayed. There is something sacred about remembering. It invites me to trust again. Not blindly, but based on who you have already proven yourself to be. It invites me to look back with reverence and forward with expectation. It reminds me that my faith is not built on feelings alone, but on a history of your goodness, and that history has left a mark on me that no pain can erase. So as I sit here in the quiet, I invite you to bring back all the moments I need to remember. Bring back the times you saved me when I did not know I needed saving. Bring back the people you sent when I felt most alone. Bring back the answers that came when I had already given up. Bring back the nearness I once felt, not to dwell in the past, but to anchor my soul in truth. You have always been gentle with me, even when the world was harsh, even when I was harsh with myself. Your touch was never forceful, never cold. It was quiet, healing, patient. You did not rush me. You did not scold me. You simply stayed. And that is what I need now, more than answers or change. I need that steady hand again, the one that reminds me I am not forgotten. I am not too much. I am not alone. There is comfort in knowing that the same God who held me then is holding me now. There is strength in remembering that the fire once lit in my soul did not go out, it only flickered, waiting for breath. So breathe on me again, Lord. Breathe on the embers. Let memory become flame. Let what was stir what can be. Let the old songs become new melodies in my heart. I know there will be days ahead that are still difficult. I know that remembering does not remove the struggle, but it changes how I face it. It gives me something to hold on to when my emotions fail. It gives me reason to stay rooted when the ground feels unstable. It gives me hope that if you showed up before, you will do it again. Not always in the same way, but always in the same love. Today, I carry these memories like treasures, not to idolize the past, but to build faith for the present. I remind myself that if I saw you then, I will see you now. That if you comforted me then, you will comfort me again. That if you loved me through seasons I thought would break me, you will love me through this one too. So I open my heart again, not because everything is clear, but because you have reminded me that you are near. I lift my eyes again, not because the weight is gone, but because I remember you are strong enough to carry it. I speak again, not because I have the right words, but because I remember the power of simply being honest with you. You have met me in memory. Meet me again in the now. Let your presence not be something I only remember, but something I live. Let my story with you continue, deeper than before, rooted in the truth that I am not just a face in the crowd to you. I am known. I am held. I am remembered. God, The memories you brought back to me yesterday have stayed with me like the scent of something sweet that lingers long after it is gone. They were not just moments of comfort, they were reminders that my heart was once alive, tender, open. But this morning, as I sit here and breathe deeply, I feel a strange mixture of hope and sorrow. Because while I remember what it felt like to walk closely with you, I also recognize how far I have drifted. There is no condemnation in that realization. Only sadness. A gentle ache in my spirit as I begin to see what I have left untended. Father, my soul was once a garden. I see that now. There were seasons when it bloomed with joy, peace, and expectation. But somewhere along the way, I stopped watering it. I let the distractions of life choke out what used to be sacred. I got busy, Lord. I got wary. I told myself I would come back to you later, that I would pray more tomorrow, that I would open my Bible when I had more energy, that I would rest in your presence once I got through my long list. But the tomorrows kept stacking up, and the distance kept growing. Now I look inward and I see the weeds. I see the dried out places. I see the corners I avoided because they revealed too much about the parts of me I was trying not to face. And yet here you are, not shaming me, not pointing fingers, but gently inviting me to return to pick up the tools of prayer and stillness and come back to the garden. I did not mean to let it go. I did not mean to turn sacred space into barren land. But the truth is, I got tired of tending to something that did not always bloom right away. I forgot that growth takes time, that fruit takes seasons, that not every day in the garden is filled with flowers. I forgot that part of the beauty is in the waiting, in the digging, in the trusting that what is sown in faith will rise in due time. Lord, help me begin again. I do not need a whole harvest today. I just need the courage to pull up one weed, to touch the dry earth with trembling hands and believe that it can still yield something beautiful. Help me find joy not just in the blossoms, but in the process of nurturing what is unseen. Give me eyes to see that a single act of devotion, a single moment of honest prayer, is like water to the soil of my spirit. There are places within me that have grown cold, places where cynicism has taken root, places where past pain has left behind seeds of doubt. I bring those places to you now, not with shame, but with hope, because I know you are the gardener who does not give up when the leaves fall. You are the one who knows how to bring life back from the edge. You are not afraid of dry ground. You are not intimidated by hard soil. You do not look at my spiritual neglect and turn away. You kneel beside me, hands in the dirt, ready to start again. And that image, God, it humbles me. That you would be so patient. That you would still want to meet me here, even after I pushed you aside. That you would still see beauty in me, still see potential where I see disappointment. I want to fall in love with tending this garden again, not because I am obligated, but because it is where I find you. I want to meet you in the stillness, in the discipline of showing up, in the small daily decisions that slowly rebuild what was lost. I want to know that even in the seasons when nothing seems to grow, something sacred is still happening beneath the surface. That roots are stretching, that trust is deepening, That faith is anchoring me even when I do not feel it. Help me to be faithful in the little things, in waking up and choosing you again, in opening my hands each day and saying yes to whatever you have for me, in pulling out the lies that have taken root, in making room for your truth to breathe in me again. Teach me that devotion is not about performance. It is about presence. It is about attention. It is about love. This morning, I begin the work. I start small, because small is honest. I lay down the weight of trying to be perfect. I take up the tools of surrender. I loosen the soil of my soul with confession, with longing, with truth. And I ask you to bring the rain, not all at once, but in steady drops of grace that soften what I have hardened. You know every part of me. You know the areas I have avoided. You know the prayers I have buried. You know the dreams I have dismissed. You know the soil that feels too dry to ever bear fruit. And yet you kneel here with me, sleeves rolled, hands ready, speaking softly that nothing is beyond restoration, that nothing is too far gone. So I will water this place with faith. I will tend it with prayer. I will believe that if I keep returning to you, morning after morning, something will begin to shift. Something will take root. Something will bloom. Not because of my strength, but because of your faithfulness. Lord, I long for a vibrant heart again, a heart alive to your whisper, a heart soft toward your word, a heart open to your touch. I do not need it to happen overnight. I just need to know you are here in the process. And I do. I feel it. You are here, not rushing me, not fixing me in a moment, just loving me as I am and guiding me gently back to where I belong. So I return to this inner garden, not with shame, but with reverence. I lift my face to the sky, even if I feel nothing yet. I press my hands into the earth, even if it is hard, and I whisper, I am here. I want to grow. I want to be close to you again. I want to be rooted. I want to be whole. Even now, I believe you are planting something in me, something small, something holy, something true. And though I cannot yet see it, I choose to trust that one day, this place will bloom again. Father, now that I have stood again in the soil of my soul and dared to believe something sacred can grow, I find myself quiet, not empty like before, but still in a different way, a holy kind of stillness, like the air just before the wind moves through the trees, like the hush that falls over a room when something meaningful is about to be said. And in this quiet, I sense you, not in thunder, not in fire, but in something softer, a whisper. I used to think I would hear you in loud, dramatic ways, in the miracles, in the breakthroughs, in the clear and undeniable signs. But here in the early light, with the garden of my heart just beginning to breathe again, I hear you differently. I hear you in the silence between my thoughts. I feel you in the slow rhythm of my breath. And though there is no sound, no spectacle, I know it is you. It is the same voice that once calmed me, the same presence that held me through nights I never thought I would survive. God, I do not want to miss your voice just because it is quiet. I do not want to overlook the sacred simply because it is small. Teach me to listen with more than my ears. Teach me to be attentive in the spaces most people overlook. Help me recognize your whisper in the gentle nudges, the subtle peace, the thoughts that bring unexpected calm. Show me that hearing you is less about volume and more about attention. You are not far, and yet sometimes I live as if I must chase you down. I fill my days with noise and wonder why you seem distant. But I think, perhaps, you have been waiting for the noise to fade, not because you hide, because you refuse to compete with what is lesser. You speak with authority, yes, but also with tenderness. And in this moment, I want to be quiet enough to catch even the faintest movement of your spirit. There is a longing in me now, not for more noise or answers, but for awareness. I do not need a storm. I need clarity. I need the kind of nearness that anchors me without needing to say much. Like sitting with someone who knows you so deeply that silence becomes connection. That is how I want to be with you. Not always talking, not always asking. Sometimes just listening, sometimes just being. Whisper to me again, Lord, even if my heart is still learning to hear, even if my mind is distracted, even if I have missed you before. Speak again. I am here. I am listening. And even if I do not understand every word, I trust the tone. I trust the love in it. I trust that if I quiet myself long enough, I will begin to recognize what is truly yours. There is so much noise in this world, so many voices pulling at me, telling me who I should be, what I should fear, what I should chase. But I do not want to be formed by their volume. I want to be shaped by your whisper, the one that reminds me who I am, who you are, and how deeply I am known. The one that gently corrects me without crushing me. The one that steadies my spirit when the world begins to shake. Lord, help me protect this stillness, not just now, but as I walk through the day ahead. Help me carry this awareness with me, like a candle I refuse to let the wind blow out. Remind me that I can return to this place, this stillness, at any time, that I do not need a perfect setting or a long prayer to hear from you. I only need to turn my attention. I only need to make room. Sometimes I wonder how many times you have whispered and I rushed past it. How many times you tried to calm me and I drowned your peace with my worry. How many times you offered gentle wisdom and I demanded louder signs. Forgive me for missing the beauty of your quiet ways. Forgive me for thinking louder meant more powerful. Now I know that sometimes the softest voice carries the greatest strength. I do not want to run ahead anymore. I want to walk slowly enough to feel the wind when you pass by. I want to move gently enough to notice when you lean near. I want to stay sensitive, even in the middle of my responsibilities, my deadlines, my routines. Make me aware of you, not just in the early hours, but in the spaces where I least expect you, in conversations, in pauses, in moments of frustration or laughter. Let your whisper guide me, not just inspire me. Let it correct me when I stray, comfort me when I ache, and redirect me when I am chasing things that do not satisfy. Speak when I am tempted to panic. Speak when I am tempted to harden. Speak when I want to give up. Let your words soften the ground again. Let them shape how I see the people around me. Let them reframe my thoughts and plant peace where anxiety once lived. There is something unshakable about this whisper. It does not demand attention, yet it draws me in. It does not shout over my fears, yet it settles them. And I think maybe this is the kind of strength I have been longing for all along, the strength that does not overpower, but undergirds, the kind that does not silence, but transforms, the kind that moves mountains with a breath instead of a roar. So here I am, choosing stillness again, choosing to listen instead of always speak, choosing to wait instead of rush, choosing to trust that if you are whispering, then I am close enough to hear. And that, Lord, changes everything. Because if I am close enough to hear, then I am close enough to follow. And if I am close enough to follow, then I am never truly lost. I will make room for this whisper. I will fight to protect it from distraction and hurry and noise. I will return to this place again and again, not for what you might say next, because of what your voice reminds me of, that I am yours, and you are near, that even in silence, you are speaking, that even when I hear nothing, you are not absent, you are simply inviting me deeper, drawing me closer, teaching me to lean in not with my ears, but with my heart. Let that be enough for today, not a sign, not a miracle, just the whisper, just the wind, just the holy hush that says I am not alone and I am not forgotten. I will follow the whisper wherever it leads. Lord, now that I have begun to recognize your whisper again, I find myself longing to carry that stillness into the moving parts of my life. I feel you in the quiet, but I also want to know you in the chaos, in the rush of the day, in the noise of responsibility, in the hum of obligations that rarely wait for peace to arrive. Because the moment I rise from this place of morning prayer, the world starts to pull. It tugs at my time, my thoughts, my energy. It demands from me before I have anything to give. And yet, somewhere in the middle of that noise, I want to kneel, not with my body, always, but with my soul. Father, teach me how to remain in communion with you even when I am not physically still. Help me learn how to pray as I move, to stay aware of your presence as I work, to keep my heart bowed even when my hands are full. I do not want my connection with you to end when the quiet does. I want my whole day to become an extension of this moment, a continuation of the conversation we began before the world woke up. Sometimes, I confess, I treat prayer like an isolated place, a corner, a time slot. But I think you never meant for it to be confined. I think you meant for it to follow me into every hallway, every meeting, every meal, every moment where my heart needs to remember what matters most. Think you long to walk with me through the noise, not to compete with it, but to redefine it. So, God, this is where I need you most, right here in the messy middle, when I am trying to remember everything I am responsible for, when my schedule is already overflowing, when interruptions threaten my rhythm and people need things from me faster than I know how to respond. I need to know you are with me there. I need to feel your calm in the current, your clarity in the blur. Let me be someone who walks through the chaos with a spirit anchored in you. Let my attitude reflect the peace that comes from knowing I am held when I am tempted to react in frustration. Help me to respond with grace when stress begins to rise. Slow my breath and remind me to return to the center, to you. When I forget, bring me back. Even if it is just a whisper or under my breath. Even if it is just a momentary pause to remember that you are near. Lord, show me how to weave prayer into my day like a thread that holds everything together. I want it to be natural, not forced, real, not ritualistic. Let every decision I make become a moment to ask for your guidance. Let every challenge I face be a reason to lean on your strength. Let every joy I encounter become a reason to give thanks. Make my days holy not because they are perfect, but because they are lived with you. I offer you the minutes ahead, not just the ones set aside for worship, but all of them. The ones spent answering emails, the ones spent standing in lines, the ones filled with conversation, and even the ones that feel dull or repetitive. Fill them, Lord. Let there be no such thing as ordinary time when I am walking with you. Remind me that my work is not separate from my worship, that folding laundry or writing reports or caring for others can become acts of devotion when done in love and offered to you. Let my actions become prayers. Let my posture be one of surrender. Let every breath I take say, I am yours, even when my hands are full. God, I know the day ahead will not be without challenges. I know there will be unexpected moments, perhaps even disappointment or frustration. I know my plans may not unfold the way I want them to, but even so, I ask that you help me not to be ruled by the chaos. Let me carry your order inside me, even when the world feels wild outside of me. Let your presence be louder than my stress. Let your peace outlast the pressure. When I am tempted to rush past people, slow me down. When I am tempted to be sharp with my words, soften my tone. When I feel overwhelmed, remind me to ask for help instead of pretending I have it all together. Make me aware that you are with me in every moment, not just the sacred ones I set aside for prayer, but the in-between ones too. The grocery store, the car ride, the unexpected conversation, the hurried decision. Let none of it be void of you. There is something sacred, I believe, in learning to kneel inside even when life demands I keep moving. It is possible, is not it, to live bowed low in spirit while still standing tall in life, to be rooted deep in you while moving swiftly through the tasks I have been given. That is what I want. Not balance, but union. Not compartmentalized faith, but integrated trust. So as the day begins to stir and my mind turns toward what must be done, I ask you to go ahead of me, to walk beside me, to live within me, be in the words I say and the tone with which I say them, be in my responses, my reactions, my rhythms. Let my life be a flowing prayer, even if I do not always stop to speak it aloud. And if the noise becomes too much, if I find myself drifting back into that space where I forget you are here, give me grace to begin again, to breathe, to pause, to remember. I do not have to earn my way back to you. I only have to return. And I want to keep returning, not just in crisis, but in every ordinary moment that longs to be made holy. Father, let today not be a performance, but a prayer. Let it not be about striving, but about staying connected. Let me live from this place of surrender, of awareness, of quiet strength. I believe you can meet me not only in the silence, but in the storm, not only in the peace, but in the pressure. And because of that, I can go forward unafraid, unshaken, grounded in grace. Thank you for being the kind of God who kneels beside me in the mess, who stays near in the noise, who speaks even when everything else is loud. Today, I will walk forward with my soul bowed low, with my heart tuned in, and with the quiet confidence that you are already waiting for me in every moment I have yet to live. God, as I step deeper into the day and feel the unpredictability of life press against me, I find myself reaching for your hand with greater urgency. The stillness I carried from the quiet hours of morning now begins to waver under the weight of uncertainty. I try to hold on to peace, but questions arise. Unknowns loom. The future stretches before me like a fog-covered road, and I strain to see what lies ahead. Yet, even in this dimness, I remember that you are the light I do not see but feel, the presence I do not touch but trust. Lord, it is in these moments when I do not know what comes next, when I do not know what decision to make, when I fear the wrong turn, that I need you most intimately. You are not just the God of answers, but the God of waiting, the God who walks with me in the in-between. You do not rush me through uncertainty, but instead offer your presence a shelter while I stand in it. And so, I come to you not for immediate solutions, but for a holy steadiness as I walk forward without clarity. Father, I bring you my questions, not because I expect all of them to be answered today, but because I know you can hold them without judgment. The things I do not understand, the closed doors I keep knocking on, the delay that makes me doubt if I am still on the right path. I confess my impatience, my frustration, my silent fears that perhaps I am being forgotten or left behind. But you remind me, gently and firmly, that waiting is not wasting when it is done in faith, that the pauses in my plans may be divine redirections in disguise. I need you to teach me how to trust when trust is not easy, when nothing around me confirms what I hope for, when others move ahead and I seem to stand still, when prayers feel like echoes and progress feels invisible. Help me, Lord, to find you not only in answered prayers, but in the silence between them, to recognize that faith is not proven in certainty, but grown in the absence of it. Let me not be afraid of what I do not know. Let me not define peace as perfect understanding. Let me instead find peace in your presence, in knowing that you see the end from the beginning and that I am safe even when I am unsure. You do not need me to have it all figured out. You only ask that I stay close, that I listen, that I walk by the lamp of your word, even if it only illuminates the next step and not the entire path. God, it is hard to loosen my grip on control. I want guarantees. I want timelines. I want promises delivered with deadlines. But you ask me to walk with open hands, to trust that what you withhold is as loving as what you give, that the roadblocks I face are sometimes the boundaries of your protection, that when you say wait, you are not punishing me, but preparing me. Let me believe that if fear tries to creep in, replace it with trust. If doubt tries to take root, plant assurance in its place. If I start to make decisions from a place of anxiety, slow me down until my soul aligns with your spirit again. Let not fear be my guide. Let not pressure be my compass. Let me be led by peace, even when it leads me into unknown terrain. I do not want to rush through this moment just to get to the next. I want to meet you here, in this unclear place, in this in-between. Because if you are here, then this moment is sacred too, and perhaps uncertainty is not a void, but a veil, behind which you are doing a new thing I do not yet perceive. Soften my heart to trust that even when I do not see progress, there is purpose. Even when I do not see change, you are working. Even when I feel suspended and waiting, you are moving me forward in ways I cannot measure. Lord, I bring you my plans and ask you to sift them. Take what is not of you and let it fall away. Take what is born of my fear or ego or comparison and gently remove it from my grip. Leave behind only what is pure, what is aligned with your will, what is true to the calling you have placed within me. I do not want to chase my own idea of success. I want to walk faithfully in the direction of purpose, even if the journey is longer or less visible than I expected. Let today be a reminder that faith does not mean always knowing what is next. It means trusting you when I do not. It means believing that even the detours and delays are under your authority. That when I feel lost, I am never truly lost to you. You always know where I am, and more importantly, you know where you are leading me. So I choose to rest in you not passively, not with resignation, but with the active trust that you are enough for this moment. I release the need to have everything figured out. I release the burden of outcomes I cannot control. I release the timeline I have written in my head, and I ask you, instead, to write your peace on my heart, your wisdom in my decisions, your strength in my waiting. Let my soul become familiar with your footsteps in the dark. Let me hear your voice not only in triumph, but in tension. Let me follow you not only when the path is clear, but when it twists and turns and asks me to believe before I see. That is where faith lives, in the spaces between certainty. And that is where I want to live too. Lord, may I not miss your nearness in this season just because I am looking too hard for answers. Help me to recognize that you are the answer. You are not the reward at the end of the road. You are the companion on it. And if I have you, I already have enough. So I will walk forward, one uncertain step at a time, with the confidence of one who is deeply loved and never alone. Father, even as I walk through the gray mist of what I cannot yet see, something within me whispers to turn around, not to return to where I once was, but to remember how far you have brought me. I begin to trace the lines of my story and see the fingerprints of your mercy all over the pages I thought were too broken. too painful, or too insignificant to matter. The very moments I believed were losses now shine with a strange kind of beauty, illuminated by the way you carried me through them. God, I remember when the weight felt unbearable, when nights stretched endlessly, and hope seemed to slip through my fingers like sand. I remember how I cried out, not always in eloquent words, but sometimes just in aching silence, and somehow, in ways I did not even understand at the time. You answered, not always by changing the situation, but often by changing me in the middle of it. You taught me how to stand when my knees trembled. You whispered peace into the noise of my anxiety. You gave me just enough strength to rise one more time when I wanted to stay down. Lord, it is so easy to forget when life becomes overwhelming again, when new fears arise. I tend to behave as if you have never been faithful before, but you have been over and over. And I choose to remember today, not just to feel comforted, but to fuel my courage. If you did it before, you can do it again. If you walk me through the fire and the flood, then surely you are still here. Even if I do not see the evidence yet, my testimony is not just in the miraculous, but in the mundane endurance that you made possible. Father, thank you for the times I thought I was abandoned, only to look back and realize you were carrying me. Thank you for the tears that watered seeds of strength I did not know I was planting. Thank you for the doors you closed, even when I begged for them to open, because they led me to better places I could not imagine then. Thank you for teaching me that deliverance is not always dramatic. It is sometimes as quiet as a heart learning to hope again after despair. I remember the day I stood on the edge of giving up, exhausted and hollow, and yet I woke up the next morning. I remember the nights when sleep would not come, but comfort did. I remember the people you sent at just the right time, a message, a song, a kind gesture that felt like divine intervention in disguise. You were weaving threads of grace through everything. And though I did not see the pattern at the time, I see it more clearly now. And in this clarity, I find new strength to walk forward. Let this remembrance become an altar in my spirit. Lord, a place I return to when doubt knocks again. Let it be a sacred landmark in my soul, reminding me of the mountains you have already moved, and the valleys you have already led me through. Let it anchor me when the winds of worry try to shake my foundation. Because when I forget your past goodness, I start to fear my future. But when I remember, I can breathe easier, knowing you are unchanging, always present, and endlessly good. You never promised a life without trials, but you have promised to never leave me in them. And you have kept that promise. Every scar has a story, and every story whispers of your faithfulness. I am not who I was before because you met me in every breaking point and gave me new shape, new vision, new depth. I may carry wounds, but I also carry wisdom. I may have been shaken, but I stand today as proof that grace outlasts storms. Sometimes I wonder how I made it through certain seasons, and the only honest answer is you. Not my strength, not my strategy, not my endurance, but you. You were the breath in my lungs when I could not catch mine. You were the stillness in my soul when chaos screamed around me. You were the quiet confidence that held me upright when I was falling apart inside. And that is why I trust you now, because you have already proven who you are, not just once, but countless times. Father, help me to carry remembrance like a weapon against fear. Let it be the oil in my lamp when the night feels long. Let it be the melody in my heart when I start to forget how to sing. Let it be the rhythm in my step when the path grows heavy, because you are not just the God of my past, but the keeper of my present and the author of what is ahead. And though I do not know how this chapter will end, I know the one who writes every line. When the enemy tries to tell me that this time will be different, that this trial will break me, let me silence that voice with the sound of remembrance. Let me speak out loud the testimonies I have buried beneath the business of new burdens. Let me bring to the surface the miracles that became so normal, I stopped recognizing them as miracles. My breath, my body, my ability to feel again, my moments of laughter after long silence, my resilience. All these are proof that you have not left me and that you never will. So today, even if everything feels uncertain again, I choose to root myself in what is already known. I look behind to move forward, not to dwell in the past, but to be reminded of what faithfulness looks like when lived. I open the journal of my life and reread the pages I wanted to forget, only to discover they are filled with your compassion. And as I do, I gather the strength to take another step. You are the same yesterday, today, and forever. And that truth is more than enough to keep me steady in a world that constantly shifts. You have walked with me through every kind of season, and I trust you will walk with me still. My heart is steadied, not because life is easier now, but because I have proof that you are faithful, and nothing can take that from me. Father, as I reflect on all the times you have carried me through the storms I thought would destroy me, I now stand at the edge of another day, another set of unknown stretching before me like an unmarked path. The comfort of remembering how you have led me this far makes me realize just how tightly I still cling to my own understanding. And so, here I am again, hands open, spirit bowed, heart laid bare before you. I surrender my plans not out of fear or defeat, but from a deep awareness that your way has always been better than mine. Lord, I confess that even with faith stirring in my soul, I still often grip the reins of control. I make schedules, set goals, draw blueprints in my mind, thinking they will give me peace. But in truth, it is not the plan that brings peace, it is you. It is your presence that steadies my heart, not the certainty of my own steps. I have seen how even my bestest intentions can lead me into confusion if I walk ahead of you. So I ask you now, gently but completely, to lead. Interrupt the paths that are not yours, no matter how convenient or convincing they seem. Tear down any idol I have made of my own ambitions and replace it with a hunger for what pleases you most. God, it is hard to release the picture I have painted for my future. Some parts of it feel safe because they are familiar. Others feel exciting because they offer the illusion of success or security. But I have learned that the only true safety is found in surrender. The only lasting success is aligning with your will, So, I lay every plan at your feet, my calendar, my dreams, my expectations, even the unspoken hopes I have not dared to admit. I offer them not with reluctance, but with the quiet confidence that you know me better than I know myself. If today does not go as I envisioned, I trust you are still working. If the door I was counting on closes, I trust you have something better prepared. If the people I hoped would stay must leave, I trust you will fill the space with something sacred. I surrender the outcomes. I surrender the need to always understand. I surrender the pressure to be perfect, to impress, to have it all figured out. I surrender it all, and in exchange, I receive the peace of being held. Father, I do not want to live reactively, jumping from task to task, driven by deadlines but divorced from direction. I want to move with intention, guided by the still, small voice that always knows the way. Slow me down if I am rushing past what matters. Redirect me if I am heading towards something that will wound me. Surprise me if I am stuck in routines that keep me from growing. And if silence is the only answer today, let that silence be filled with trust, not frustration. Sometimes, Lord, I confuse surrender with passivity. But now I see the difference. Surrender is not giving up, it is choosing to follow. It is not resignation, it is reverent submission, is courage in its purest form. Because it means believing you know what I cannot see, and trusting you enough to wait, even when waiting stretches my faith. It means walking into rooms I did not expect, embracing assignments I did not request, and letting go of timelines I once demanded. God, I have tried doing life my way, and it left me tired, empty, and afraid. But when I step into the flow of your wisdom, even the hardest days carry a hidden strength. Even the detours hold meaning. So help me today to hold loosely what is in my hands and hold tightly to what is in your heart. Teach me not to measure success by outcomes, but by obedience. Not by results, but by the fruit of peace and patience and love that grows in me along the way. I surrender not just what is easy to give up, but what is hard. I surrender the roles I define myself by, the titles I think I need, the praise I seek, the control I crave. I surrender the fear of what others think, the comparison that steals my joy, and the lies that tell me I am behind or not enough. I surrender every voice but yours, and in that surrender, I begin to hear the whispers of truth again, the ones that tell me I am not lost, not forgotten, not failing. I am simply being guided one step at a time by the one who formed me with purpose. Even now, Lord, I feel the resistance melting, the tightness in my chest loosening as I breathe in grace. I sense your presence in the stillness, like light gently spilling over the horizon, illuminating what once seemed shadowed. This surrender is not a one-time event, it is a daily rhythm, a moment-by-moment decision. And even if I must return to this place again and again, I know you meet me here with patience, not judgment, with tenderness, not condemnation. Father, help me make peace with the unanswered questions and the unseen destinations. Help me to fall in love with the process, not just the promise. Help me to trust the slow work you are doing within me, even when I cannot quantify or explain it. Help me to rejoice not just when things go my way, but even when they do not, because my joy is rooted in who you are, not in what I gain or lose. I surrender this day and all it holds. I surrender my voice, let it speak only words that build. I surrender my eyes, let them see others with compassion, not criticism. I surrender my hands, let them serve with gentleness, not grasp with greed. I surrender my feet, let them walk only where your presence leads. I surrender my heart, let it beat in rhythm with yours, steady and strong, even when the world around me trembles. This morning, as I give you my plans, I do not feel empty, I feel free. Free to be led instead of burdened. Free to follow instead of force. Free to live without needing all the answers. Because you are the answer, and that is enough for me today. Lord, as I return once again to this sacred space of stillness, I feel the lingering warmth of your presence wrapping around my soul like a familiar embrace. The echoes of all I have already surrendered now drift gently behind me, and I step forward into this new portion of quiet with a heart still yearning to be shaped by your hands. As the morning stretches further into the day, and the world beyond my window begins to stir with urgency, I ask that you would slow me down, not in pace, but in spirit. I do not wish to move ahead of you, Lord, nor lag behind in fear or hesitation. Let me match the cadence of your whisper and trust in the path you are laying before me. God, the more I draw near, the more I realize how desperate I am to be real with you, not polished, not presentable, not rehearsed, just real. This morning, I offer the parts of me that are rough and wary, the pieces still jagged from yesterday's failures, the wounds I keep covering up because I fear they disqualify me from being whole. But you do not ask me to be perfect. You ask me to be present, and here I am, open, honest, hungry for more of you. There is a strange beauty in this vulnerability, Lord, because it is here in the places I want to hide that you often speak the loudest. You do not turn away from my weakness. You meet me there. You do not scorn my fear. You silence it with love. You do not reject my questions. You sit with me in the silence until trust grows where certainty once ruled. So I will not rush past the discomfort. I will linger here, in this holy tension between surrender and strength, because I know you are doing something deeper than I can see. Father, help me today to stay tender in a world that rewards hardness. Let me forgive faster than I want to, listen longer than I find comfortable, and show kindness even when it costs me something. Let my peace be more than just the absence of conflict. Let it be a deliberate choice to anchor myself in your truth, regardless of how others behave. Guard my heart against cynicism, against the lie that gentleness is weakness, or that silence is submission. Let my inner world be ruled not by reaction, but by revelation. Speak, Lord, even if all you offer me today is the stillness of your breath. I am reminded again that joy is not a destination, but a discipline. It grows in the cracks of disappointment. It blossoms even in shadows. Let me choose it. Let me name it even before I feel it. Let my gratitude be active, not reactive gratitude for what is, not just for what has improved. Let me thank you for the very breath that allows me to bring this prayer, for the pulse in my wrist that reminds me I am still here for a reason, still part of the story you are writing. And Lord, when I leave this quiet space, let what I have found here stay with me. Let my mind return to it like a home built on unshakable ground. Let it become the compass I consult when confusion sets in, the refuge I retreat to when conflict arises, the well I draw from when my spirit grows dry. I want to live from this place, not just visit it when life overwhelms me. Make this peace my posture, this trust my foundation, this intimacy my pursuit. As I prepare to step into the tasks ahead, I invite you into every detail, not just the grand, visible moments, but the hidden ones too. Be with me in every email I write, every word I speak, every pause between actions. Be with me in the interruptions, in the inconveniences, in the tiny decisions that shape the rhythm of my day. I want to move through this world as someone who has been with you, someone whose eyes have seen your goodness and cannot unsee it. Let others recognize the fragrance of peace in me, the evidence of grace that cannot be explained away by circumstances. And Lord, when I am tempted to forget, to fall back into striving or bitterness or fear, whisper again what you have already told me in this quiet hour, that I am loved, that I am held, that I am not alone. Let that truth be louder than the noise outside and deeper than the doubt within. Remind me that nothing is wasted in your hands, not my failures, not my waiting, not even my brokenness. You are the God who gathers every fragment and makes mosaics out of shattered things. This day is not mine to control, but mine to steward. Let me hold it lightly, open-handedly, reverently. I surrender my schedule, my agenda, my outcomes. You know what I need before I ask, and you see what I cannot. Guide my yes and guard my no. Make me sensitive to your spirit's nudge, alert to divine appointments, quick to obey even when I do not understand. Let obedience not be a duty, but a delight. Lord, breathe fresh wind into my sails. Give me courage where I feel weak, direction where I feel lost, and hope where I feel empty. Help me to believe again where cynicism has crept in, to try again where failure has discouraged me, and to dream again where disappointment has closed doors. Let this be a day not of survival, but of sacred movement toward more of you. Let my life today be an offering, poured out not perfectly but purposefully, for your glory, Lord. In the gentle unfolding of this morning, I bring you the trembling pieces of my courage. After all the silence, after all the tears that watered the soil of my soul through the night, something within me begins to stir, not loudly, not like a roar, but like the faint, steady flicker of a flame refusing to die. This, I sense, is your doing. It is not my strength, but yours whispering in my chest. Stand again. I do not yet see the whole road ahead, and the weight of uncertainty still lingers. But somehow, by your grace, I am not crushed. There is something sacred in this breath I draw, something divine in the way I sit up and say, I will keep going. Not because I am fearless, but because I am carried. Father, You know that I have been afraid of failing again, of being broken again, of hoping again. But now I begin to realize that courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move forward in the presence of fear. And this strength I feel rising is not from my willpower, but from your spirit reminding me of every time you brought me through what I thought would end me when I had no words. You gave me breath when I had no plan. You opened a way when I had no fight left. You carried me. So now, though the valley is not behind me yet, I place one foot in front of the other because you walk beside me. God, I have seen how easy it is to freeze in the face of pain, to want to disappear into the familiar darkness, to retreat into silence. But your voice calls me into movement, not a rushed, panicked escape, but a steady, faithful rising, like the way light creeps across the sky before the sun reveals itself. You are awakening strength in me even before I understand it. I do not need to be completely healed to take one more step. I do not need to feel ready to say yes to life. I only need to trust that your hand is holding mine, that you go before me into every room, every conversation, every unknown hour of this day. Lord, remind me that I am not weak for shaking. I am not less faithful for weeping. I am not a failure for having questions. My courage is not proven by perfection, but by presence, by staying when I want to run, by trying again when I want to give up, by choosing to trust you when doubt hisses in the background. And today, in this very moment, I choose to trust you again. I surrender my anxiety and ask that you exchange it for peace. I release my dread and ask that you fill the space with calm. I acknowledge that I cannot do this alone, and the beautiful thing is, you never ask me to. Father, may the small, brave acts I do today, getting out of bed, showing up, speaking honestly, being kind, be worship to you. Let every breath that comes from a place of hope, even if it is just a thread of hope, rise to your throne like incense. Let my shaking hands be holy hands. Let my slow steps be sacred movement. Let my broken voice still carry a melody of faith. For you take what is fragile and use it to bring glory. You do not despise the trembling. You do not mock the weary. You kneel beside me, lift my chin, and say, you are not alone. I confess I still fear what I do not understand. I confess I still fear being hurt again. I confess I still fear losing what I love. But in the face of these confessions, I choose to declare that you are greater. Your love is stronger than loss. Your mercy is deeper than failure. Your presence is more constant than pain. And so I anchor my courage not in outcomes, but in you. You, who have never abandoned me. You, who remain when all else fades. You, who are the light that no darkness can overcome. Let today be a day of small victories, not the kind the world celebrates, but the kind you delight in, the quiet forgiveness I extend. The moment I speak truth, though my voice trembles. The decision to see beauty, even when everything feels gray. These are not small in your kingdom. These are mountains moved by mustard seeds. These are echoes of eternity in the middle of an ordinary morning. And I will hold to them. I will see them. I will name them as signs that you are with me. Lord, I do not ask for a life without pain, but I do ask for a heart that does not give up. I ask for resilience rooted in you. I ask for a spirit that chooses faithfulness even when the cost is high. I ask for eyes that can spot the sunrise behind the storm. I ask for ears that hear your whisper above the noise. I ask for a soul that says yes even when it is scared. Because that kind of yes that's soft, persistent yes is the kind that shakes hell and invites heaven into the room. You know the road ahead. You know the weight I carry. You know the faces I must encounter, the decisions I must make, the strength I will need. So I entrust it all to you, not because I understand how you will work, but because I know you will. And in that knowing, I find my courage. Not courage that needs applause or validation, but courage that stands quietly and says, even if I stumble, I will rise again. Even if I cry, I will not stop walking. Even if I fear, I will not turn back. Because you are my guide. You are my shelter. You are my courage. And so I breathe in, I breathe out. I open my hands to this day, and I say, I will walk forward with you, God. As the light of morning stretches farther across the earth and warms the soil beneath my feet, I lean into this quiet moment with you, remembering the grace that has carried me through each breath until now. In the soft echo of the last whispered thought, where I laid down every anxious burden and yielded my desires at your feet, I feel the gentle nudge to go deeper still. You are not only the giver of peace, but the architect of every sunrise that awakens hope in the soul. You shape not only my surroundings, but also the intricate movements of my inner world, where battles are fought quietly and victories sometimes bloom unnoticed. In this new light, I bring before you the longings I dared not name yesterday. There are dreams buried beneath fear, and voices within me that have remained unheard for too long. Lord, let this day be one where boldness is birthed not from pride, but from trust that you walk before me, preparing paths even through the wilderness of uncertainty. I ask not for the absence of trial, but for the endurance to walk through fire without the smell of smoke clinging to me. Let my spirit be refined, not scorched, by what today may hold. Strengthen me with a faith that holds even when answers remain silent, and stir in me a praise that rises even when joy seems distant. Father, let this hour be a sanctuary, not sealed by walls but opened by surrender. Teach my heart to beat in rhythm with yours, to recognize the divine timing in delays and the gentle grace in detours. Even in the waiting, there is hollowness. Even in the silence, there is a word waiting to be revealed. And as I walk, let my steps be steady, not because I am certain of what comes next, but because I am anchored in the certainty of who you are. Reveal to me the unseen needs of others today. Lord, give me eyes that look beyond the surface, ears that catch the unspoken, and hands that extend without calculation. May I be a vessel not of judgment, but of compassion, not of mere sympathy, but of true mercy. Where there is weariness in those I meet, let my presence bring rest. Where there is sorrow, let my words breathe life. Where bitterness threatens, let forgiveness flow through me as freely as you have poured it over me. God, may I steward the hours ahead with intention, not rushing through them, not wasting them in fruitless striving, but embracing them as gifts, each moment holy, each encounter sacred. Help me resist the temptation to prove my worth through endless effort or seek approval in fleeting things. Let my soul find satisfaction, not in what I achieve, but in who I become in the stillness of being yours. Make me a person who carries peace, not just receives it. Make me a home for your spirit in the clutter of everyday life. As the sun continues to climb, may my awareness of you do the same. Let gratitude swell with each passing minute. Let the ordinary reveal the extraordinary. In the aroma of morning coffee, let me remember your provision. In the rhythm of footsteps on pavement, let me celebrate movement and breath. In conversations, may your wisdom guide me. In solitude, may your whisper be enough. Wherever this day carries me, may it be a path paved with trust and traced with grace. And if shadows fall by noon, if unexpected sorrow knocks on the door, remind me of the warmth of this hour. Let it be stored within, a well I draw from when the sun hides and the winds howl. Let me carry your peace like a hidden ember, glowing even when the world turns cold. Let my faith not flicker with changing circumstances, but remain rooted in the soil of your eternal truth. Lord, lead me into moments that stretch me beyond comfort, but never outside your covering. Let my courage be shaped by humility, my convictions bathed in love. Keep me from words that wound and guide me into speech that heals. Let my posture toward others reflect how you stooped low for me. Let my ambition be surrendered and my purpose aligned with eternal things. Show me what to hold and what to release, what to build and what to bless and let go. As the rhythm of the day quickens, help me to return again and again to the breath of this morning, to recall not only what I have asked, but who I have become in asking, to see not only the road ahead, but the footprints behind, reminders of how you have never failed. Let this sacred stillness remain with me, a hush in my spirit, a calm that steadies every choice. Let it be more than a moment. Let it be a mindset, a new way of walking through the noise with the clarity of your voice still echoing within. And God, even if nothing turns out the way I hope today, let me end it knowing I was faithful to love, faithful to seek you, and faithful to keep my heart open. If laughter fills my afternoon, may I share it freely. If tears come, let them be part of the healing. If silence stretches long into the evening, let it be a canvas on which you paint comfort. I do not ask for a day without mess, but a heart that is not shaken by the mess. I do not ask for ease, but resilience. I do not ask for perfection, but transformation bit by bit, grace upon grace. I will rise from this stillness not alone, but held, not uncertain, but grounded, not empty, but quietly full. The day is yours, and so am I. Let me now carry that truth into every room, every decision, every word, and every breath. Lord, in the unfolding hush of this morning, I continue to rest in the rhythm of your peace. What began in stillness has carried into something more, an awareness that you are not merely a distant source of light, but the light itself moving gently through every fiber of my being. As I breathe deeply, I sense that you are speaking to me not in thunder or trembling, but in the soft insistence of a heart that beats because you permit it. My soul leans into this grace, not to escape the world, but to walk into it renewed, carrying the fire of stillness into every interaction, decision, and unseen crossroad. God, you know the thoughts that attempt to race ahead, pulling me into questions that have not yet been answered, or worries about what might go wrong. But you also know how to pull me gently back into the moment, into the beauty of now. You hold me here, where fear loses its footing and joy has room to breathe. This is where I want to live today, not just in theory, not just when things feel easy, but especially when they do not. I long to be so aware of your presence that even conflict cannot displace my clarity, that even difficulty cannot define my posture. Let my responses today be slow, deliberate, steeped in the knowledge that I am walking with you. Father, let me see people through your eyes today, not through the filter of my preferences or past experiences, but through the compassionate gaze of a creator who shaped each soul with purpose. Help me to pause before I speak, to listen more than I explain, to ask more than I assume. I do not want to go through this day reacting from habit or emotion. I want to be anchored in love that looks beyond the surface. If someone is rude, let me wonder what pain they carry. If someone seems distant, let me consider what fear might be shadowing their heart. Grant me discernment that does not puff up with judgment, but kneels low in humility. Lord, if you are truly with me, and I believe you are, then my courage is not dependent on the outcome. Whether the meeting goes well, whether the plans hold together, whether the door opens or stays closed, none of it determines the worth of this day. You are the worth. You are the reason I rise, the reason I keep trying, the reason I soften instead of harden. Teach me not to grasp so tightly for control, but to hold things loosely, offering my expectations back to you again and again as an act of faith. Sometimes, Lord, I forget that your greatest work in me is not what I achieve, but who I become. Today, remind me that gentleness is not weakness, and patience is not passivity. Let me be a quiet force of calm in a world that rushes, a steady voice when things begin to crack. If people around me spiral into panic or criticism, let my presence feel like peace made tangible. Help me be the one who remembers what matters most when others forget. Let my pace be set by eternity, not urgency. Let my soul be fed by trust, not anxiety. God, I ask that you would guard my mind today from lies that try to plant themselves as truth. The lie that I am not enough, the lie that I must earn love, the lie that things will never change. Your voice is gentler and truer than any of those, and I want to hear it clearer than all others. Speak softly but persistently to my spirit throughout the day, in my errands, in my conversations, in the moments when I feel alone or unseen. Whisper again, I am with you, I see you, I delight in you. Let those words become the anthem I carry into every task and every room. And Father, protect my heart from comparison. It creeps in quietly when I scroll through someone else's life, or when I measure my pace against theirs, or when I question if I am too late or too behind. Silence that noise. Show me that my story is unfolding exactly as you intended it to. Not faster. Not slower. Not missing a chapter. You are not in a hurry with me. You are shaping me with patience. And I want to meet you in that same rhythm. Give me joy not just in where I am going, but in where I am. When discouragement brushes close, help me not to pretend it does not exist, but to meet it honestly in your presence. Let me talk to you about it, not bury it. Let me bring the weight of my doubt to you, not to others who may not understand. You never shame me for feeling weary. You simply lift my chin. You remind me that my steps are still held in your hands, so I will keep moving, not because I am strong, but because you are carrying me through. The journey itself is holy if you are in it. Lord, help me not to miss the beauty threaded through today. A kind word spoken in passing. A breeze brushing the leaves just right. The smell of something warm. A laugh I did not expect. These are not small things, they are sacred sparks that remind me of you. Open my eyes to see them. Let me treasure them as evidence of grace, as proof that heaven often touches earth in unnoticed ways. I want to live awake to these gifts. Let thankfulness become my way of seeing. And as the day stretches on and responsibilities pull, let me return to this quiet again and again, not only in morning stillness, but in heart-deep awareness. Let this prayer be not just a beginning, but a thread that follows me, weaving peace into the ordinary, until even the most mundane moments shimmer with purpose. You are here, not only when I speak, but when I listen, not only when I kneel, but when I rise, not only in light, but even when shadows fall. You remain, Lord, as the quiet from yesterday's final word continues to echo gently through the corridors of my soul. I rise into this new beginning with a heart still, soaked in the stillness you offered. The memory of your nearness lingers, like the fragrance of rain long after the storm has passed. And I cannot help but crave more of you, more of that unshakable peace that settles deep where chaos cannot reach. You are the first breath I take this morning, not out of routine, but out of reverence. You are the reason the silence is not empty, but filled with assurance. And as this day opens its arms before me, I step forward slowly, not to rush into obligation, but to walk into the rhythm of grace that you have prepared for me. In the hush between thoughts, I feel you leading me again, not with loud commands, but with soft impressions that press on my spirit, like the breeze brushing the surface of a still lake. Teach me to hear you in the spaces I used to fill with noise. Teach me to notice your hand even when you move quietly. Let every interruption today become an invitation to lean closer. Let every delay become an altar where trust is tested and proven. When impatience stirs in my chest and frustration tempts my lips to speak too soon, tame me with the awareness of your presence. Let your spirit interrupt my rush with the kindness of a slower pace. I ask you, Father, to sanctify the mundane. Make sacred the ordinary steps that might seem insignificant, whether I am standing in a long line, speaking with a stranger, or washing dishes in the sink. Let every small act become a form of communion with you. I do not need grand signs to know you are near. I only need the eyes of faith to perceive the holy in what others ignore. And if the day offers me stillness, Help me to receive it without guilt. If it brings trial, help me meet it with anchored strength that draws not from my willpower, but from your unending grace. Remind me that it is not my control that brings peace, but my surrender. It is not certainty that grants courage, but the quiet trust in your steady hand. I do not ask to know every step ahead. I only ask for the faith to take the next one with you. Let me live with open hands, unclenched and willing to release anything you have not called me to carry. And when the weight grows heavy, when the world insists that I prove or perform or perfect, whisper once again that your yoke is easy and your burden is light. Remind me that I am not what I achieve. I am not what I fix. I am not what I fear. I am yours. And that alone is enough. God, breathe gentleness into my words today. Let my tone mirror the grace you have shown me time and again. May those who hear me not feel judged or hurried, but welcomed and seen. Help me speak life where silence has left a void. Help me bring light where shadows have lingered too long. Not because I am strong, but because you are. Not because I always know what to say, but because your spirit speaks when I am silent and moves when I hesitate. Teach me to be a vessel, not of perfection, but of presence. One who listens deeply, one who walks slowly, one who stays when it would be easier to run. Let compassion interrupt my assumptions. Let humility correct my pride before it takes root. Let grace soften my opinions when truth is best shared with a gentle tone. Today, I do not need to be right more than I need to be kind. I do not need to win more than I need to reflect your heart. I want the kind of influence that lingers because it lifted, not because it conquered. The kind of presence that heals simply by staying near, quietly anchoring others in the same peace I have found in you. As the minutes unfold and distractions press against my edges, teach me to return to you again and again, not as a task, but as a breath, not as a duty, but as a rhythm. Let my soul have a place to rest even while my hands are moving. Make my work an offering. Make my focus a prayer. Let no hour go untouched by the awareness that you are here. And when I forget, as I surely will, draw me back not with shame, but with the tender pull of your mercy. May my posture in every moment be one of surrender, not striving. Let my joy not depend on the absence of conflict, but on the presence of Christ. Whether I sit or stand, speak or stay silent, celebrate or weep, let it all be done with a spirit aware that nothing escapes your gaze and no moment is wasted in your hands. Let me be faithful not in the dramatic, but in the hidden. Let me be consistent not because others are watching, but because you are near. I entrust this entire day to you, not to get it all right, but to walk it all with you, not to impress, but to be impacted, not to impress you, but to be transformed by you. Take my expectations, Lord, and reframe them. Take my timelines and hold them loosely. If you interrupt my plans, let me celebrate the detour. If you delay what I desire, let me trust the deeper work you are doing in the waiting. If you close the door I long to enter, let me know the safety of your boundary is better than the illusion of control. And when the day folds into night, let it be said not that I was successful, but that I was present, not that I was perfect, but that I was open, Not that I accomplished much, but that I remained rooted in grace. Let the fruit of my life not be the applause of men, but the quiet satisfaction of having walked with you. Heart aligned, hands open, and soul at peace. Let your voice be the one that echoes in my thoughts as sleep draws near. Let your presence be the last thing I feel as the curtain of the day falls gently. Let me wake again tomorrow with the same hunger for you, the same thirst for stillness, the same longing to dwell in the calm of your love, where I find rest and renewal again and again. God, as I continue to draw near to you in the quiet unfolding of this morning, my soul lingers in the stillness you have carved around me, like a sacred alcove of grace. The rhythm of your voice whispers beneath my thoughts, carrying me gently from the reflections of the last hour, where I found safety in surrender and comfort in your constancy. Now, in this soft turning of light through the windows of my spirit, I begin to sense you inviting me deeper still, beyond the surface calm, into a place where trust no longer leans on outcomes, but on your very essence. You know, Lord, how often I seek answers when what I truly need is assurance. Assurance that you are enough even when clarity is not given. Assurance that I am still held even when the road disappears into fog. And as I breathe in slowly now, I feel the corners of my heart begin to release their grip on the need to know. And instead, they rest on the truth that you know, and that is enough. In this, I ask you to increase my capacity to walk in faith, not by my sight, but by the quiet certainty of your presence. In the hush of this morning light, I see the beauty in the unseen, how the dew forms without audience, how the trees lift their arms in worship with no applause, how the birds greet the day not with anxiety, but with instinctive trust. Let me learn from them. Let my life echo this rhythm of surrender. I long to be so aligned with your will that my responses flow not from fear or strategy, but from the resting place of trust, rooted in the soil of intimacy with you. And Father, where I have been weary, where the night stretched long with questions unanswered, bring renewal now not just to my body, but to my beliefs. Sweep away the silent doubts that have settled like dust on the windows of my faith. Let the sunrise of your truth burn them away, so I may see again clearly the vision you have for my life, not one drawn in perfect lines, but one shaped by trust-filled steps taken day by day. Even when the destination feels distant, teach me to wait without panic, to pause without despair, and to move when prompted not by fear of loss, by love for your voice. Let every choice today be a prayer, every word a reflection of the grace you have poured into me. I do not wish to live loudly but deeply. I do not want to chase significance in the eyes of men, but to walk worthy of the calling you have whispered into my soul when no one else was listening. There are places inside me, Lord, that still resist surrender, small strongholds where control masquerades as security. Shine your light there gently but firmly. Let your kindness dismantle my stubborn walls. Let your truth redefine what I call safe. And if you must, allow the discomfort of surrender to break me open, not to shame me, but to free me from the illusion that I am ever alone or ever in charge. I am not, and that is not a threat, but a promise of peace. Hold my heart steady when the waves rise. Let your nearness be my anchor, not the absence of storms. Should criticism come, let me listen with humility and respond with gentleness. Should disappointment visit, let it find me already rooted in hope. Should joy arrive, let me receive it fully without suspicion. And should silence stretch across the afternoon, let me hear you in it, reminding me that even in the quiet, you are always speaking. God, help me not to measure today by accomplishments or failures, by the admiration of others, or the number of tasks crossed off a list. Let me measure it only by this: did I walk with you? Did I seek your heart before I sought my plans? Did I love with patience, speak with kindness, and act with courage? And if I fall short, and I surely will remind me again that your mercy is not meted out in rationed spoons, but in overflowing rivers. I do not need more proof of your love. The cross was enough. The empty tomb is enough. The breath in my lungs is enough. But in my weakness, when I forget, when I search the sky for signs you have already written on my soul, meet me there without shame, lift my chin gently, and speak truth to my fear. Tell me again that I am yours not for what I do, but for who you created me to be. Not because I earn it, but because you chose it before I ever had a name. Let me carry this truth gently into the lives of others today. May my words heal more than they hurt. May my presence comfort more than it demands. And may the fragrance of my spirit be one that points not to my strength, but to the one who sustains me in my weakness. I want to be a vessel of light, not because I shine on my own, but because I have been lit by the flame of grace and refuse to hide it under fear. So as this day stretches before me, with its unknowns and interruptions, with its surprises and routines, I choose again to step into it with open hands and an expectant heart. I will not fear the hours ahead, because I do not walk into them alone. You are already there, waiting in the laughter and in the stillness, in the struggle and in the breakthrough. You are the beginning and the sustaining and the ending of every story I will live today. And now, with the sound of morning birds rising in harmony and the breeze shifting like your spirit across the threshold of this sacred space, I yield again. I yield my words, my worries, my wishes. I yield my pride, my plans, my pressure to prove. I yield my yesterday and my tomorrow, so I can receive the grace you have prepared for today. This grace that is enough, this grace that is new with every sunrise, this grace that never runs dry, no matter how thirsty I become. Let the stillness remain in me, even as the world stirs awake. Let the peace not end when the quiet does, and let the sound of your love echo louder than any noise that may try to distract me. This is the path I choose again. Trust, surrender, and steady faith. Not because I feel strong, but because I know you are, and you walk with me. Father, as I continue to walk with you through the unfolding moments of this sacred morning, my heart carries the softness of surrender that began to take root in the stillness before. There is something holy in the quiet after I have let go, something sacred in the space where my striving has stilled and my soul becomes receptive. And now, as I lean into this new breath, I feel you drawing me closer not with urgency, but with tender invitation. I am learning that transformation often begins not in a loud breakthrough, but in the gentle turning of my will toward yours. You are not far, Lord. You have never been. It was my cluttered thoughts, my endless inner noise, that made the distance seem real. But now, in this moment of clarity, I feel you beside me. Not demanding, but delighting in my simple nearness. You do not ask for performance, only presence. You do not measure my value by my progress, but by my willingness to remain open to your touch. And so I come not to impress you, but to be impressed upon by you. Let my eyes see the world through the filter of your mercy today. Too often I glance at others and interpret their behavior through the lens of my own wounds or my own assumptions. But you see differently. You see through layers. You see pain beneath pride, insecurity beneath harshness, longing beneath silence. Give me your vision, Lord, so I may respond not from judgment, but from compassion. Let me carry kindness like breath natural, constant, and life-giving. Remind me that I am not the fixer of every broken thing, but I can be a faithful companion in the middle of someone else's ache. Let my presence carry peace, not pressure. Let my words restore dignity, not diminish it. Help me to step away from needing to be right, and instead, step toward what is holy humility, patience, understanding. Let the love you pour into me spill outward, not in grand gestures, but in unnoticed faithfulness. Today may be filled with demands, responsibilities, pulling at me from every direction. But even in that, I ask you to keep me grounded. Let me become a slave to business, confusing motion with meaning. Slow me down enough to hear what is truly being asked of me, not just what appears urgent. Help me discern what needs my presence and what simply needs my release. I do not want to chase importance. I want to dwell in obedience. God, I know how often I confuse my worth with my productivity. I attach my identity to how much I get done, how well I am perceived, how in control I feel. But I surrender that again now. Peel away the layers of self I have built in fear and performance. Show me that who I am in you is untouched by accolades or achievements, that the deepest parts of me are already known, already loved, already held. Let that truth free me to live lighter, less afraid of falling short. When I feel the weight of expectations, others or my own remind me that you are not a taskmaster. You are a father. You lead by love, not by shame. You correct with grace, not with condemnation. You call me higher not by pressure, but by awakening within me the beauty of who I was always created to be. So if I stumble, catch me. If I freeze, nudge me forward. If I wander, call me back not with harshness, but with the voice that calms storms and softens hearts. Let my faith today be active, not passive, not just something I speak about, but something I live into through patience in traffic, through forgiveness in conversations, through integrity when no one is watching. Let it shape the tone of my voice, the pace of my steps, the way I look someone in the eyes. Let it be woven into every fiber of my interaction, not as performance, but as overflow. And Lord, when anxiety whispers its lies that I am behind, that I am not enough, that things will fall apart without my tight control. Silence those voices with your truth. Wrap my restless mind in the blanket of your peace. Teach me that it is not weak to rest, not lazy to pause, not irresponsible to breathe. That rest is not retreat, it is sacred trust. It is saying, I believe you are working even when I am still. In this stillness, bring to mind those I must lift to you. Loved ones burdened with hidden grief. Strangers whose paths cross mine, but whose names I will never know. People who carry silent battles, who wake to pain or dread or loneliness. I place them before you, not because I have answers, but because I trust you do. Let my intercession not be an afterthought, but a rhythm woven into my day like breath, like heartbeat. Help me to listen well not only to what is said, but to what is meant, to hear not just voices but hearts, to notice the hesitation in someone's tone, the tremble behind their words, the silence that may be crying louder than speech. Let me respond, not with platitudes, but with presence. Sometimes the holiest thing I can offer is not advice, but simply not turning away. Let gratitude shape my thoughts today. Let it be the lens through which I see all things, that even in inconvenience, I find hidden blessings, that even in smallness, I find deep joy, that even in repetition, I find meaning. Teach me to treasure the ordinary moments, the sound of laughter, the feel of warm water on my hands, the comfort of a familiar voice, the light that filters through curtains. These are not filler between important things. These are the important things. And when the sun begins to sink later today, let me look back without regret, not because everything went perfectly, but because I remained connected to you, because I chose love over reaction, because I paused when I could have pushed, because I listened instead of defended. And where I missed the mark, let me not spiral into shame, but return with a quiet heart to the grace you keep pouring out. Father, I want this life to reflect you not in grandiosity, but in quiet consistency, in the unseen choices, in the whispered prayers, in the way I carry peace where chaos tries to reign. Let my soul be a quiet place where your spirit rests. Let my hands be steady with purpose. Let my words be few but full of life. Let my steps be slow enough to notice beauty, quick enough to meet need, and always in rhythm with your heart. Lord, as I rise into the continuing rhythm of this morning with you, I carry forward the stillness and surrender you have been shaping within me. What began in quiet reflection now becomes a deeper resting in trust, a more anchored awareness that no matter what may come today, I am not alone. You are already ahead of me, already beside me, already within me, present in every space I step into. And I long not just to know that in theory, but to live it in practice, to respond to each moment with the steady confidence of one who walks hand in hand with you. Help me not to forget that the sacred often hides in the ordinary, that your presence does not wait in the dramatic or the grand, but often whispers in unnoticed corners of the day, in the first sip of water that touches my lips, in the way the morning light rests on the wall, in the quiet hum of life unfolding outside the window. You are there. Let me not rush past these invitations to worship. Let me meet you in the mundane and allow the miracle of awareness to transform the smallest things into holy ground. Father, I recognize how quickly my mind can drift, even in this still space of prayer. Thoughts arrive uninvited, distractions tug at my attention, worries circle like restless birds. But you do not shame my wandering thoughts. You draw them in gently, as a parent gathering a child who is run ahead. You do not require perfection from me. In these moments, you desire presence. And you meet me wherever I am willing to return. So here I am, returning again, breath by breath, into the safety of your nearness. There is such comfort in knowing I do not have to earn your love again each day. It is not reset by my failures or withheld until I reach a standard. It flows steady and unchanging, because it is not based on me, it is rooted in who you are. You are faithful even when I falter. You are patient when I am slow to understand. You are kind when I am frustrated. You do not rush me out of my humanity, but invite me to find you within it. Let this be a day of gentleness, not because everything will be easy, but because I choose to meet the day gently, with a heart unhurried, with words that heal, with eyes that see the goodness hiding in plain sight. Teach me to respond instead of react, to pause when I am provoked, to offer kindness when I am met with indifference. Let me be someone who brings light into shadowed places, not because I have all the answers, because I carry your presence within me. Help me, Lord, to be faithful in what is before me. Not every task will feel meaningful. Not every responsibility will sparkle with inspiration. But faithfulness is not measured by feelings, it is born of commitment. Let me honor the work you have entrusted to my hands today, however small it may seem. Let me complete what is mine to do with integrity, without comparison, without complaint. Let me remember that unseen faithfulness is seen by you, and that is enough. Guard my heart from restlessness, especially when I am tempted to seek validation in all the wrong places. It is so easy to crave applause, to chase affirmation, to scroll endlessly looking for connection that only scratches the surface. But you offer something deeper. You offer rootedness. You remind me that I belong, not because I am impressive, but because I am yours. You quiet my striving with the truth that I do not need to be louder to be loved. I do not need to be busier to matter. And when I feel overwhelmed, help me not to run from the pressure, nor collapse under its weight, but to step into your strength. Teach me that courage is not the absence of fear, but the choice to move forward anyway, anchored in the belief that you walk beside me. Let me not wait for everything to feel safe before I trust you. Let me trust you even while I tremble. Let me lean into your presence like a child resting against a parent's shoulder, not needing to know everything, only needing to know they are held. Give me grace today for those around me, grace to not take offense quickly, grace to forgive without waiting for apologies, grace to see beyond the surface and into the heart, grace to make room for others' imperfections without turning cold or distant. Let my first instinct be empathy, not criticism. Let my words build bridges, not walls. Let my silence speak peace when noise would only wound. Let me be more interested in understanding than in being understood. And if there are moments today when I feel unseen, when my efforts go unnoticed, when my voice feels unheard, When my heart aches in private, remind me that you see it all, that not a single tear escapes your notice, that every unnoticed act of love is precious to you, that I do not need to be visible to be valuable. You honor the hidden, you bless the quiet, you elevate what the world overlooks. Let joy be more than a fleeting feeling. Let it be a quiet strength that bubbles up from gratitude, that holds steady even when circumstances shift. Let it be rooted in the eternal, not the temporary. Let it rise when I remember who you are and who I am in you. Let me laugh freely, without fear. Let me smile even when no one sees. Let joy not be something I wait for, but something I walk in, because I walk with you. Help me to welcome interruption, to recognize that sometimes the divine enters in the form of delay, detour, or discomfort, that you may speak through the unexpected, through the broken plan, through the face of a stranger. Let me be flexible enough to be moved, aware enough to notice, and humble enough to respond with grace. Let me live today not on autopilot, but in awake obedience to your promptings. Father, guide me in truth, not just in knowing what is right, but in doing what is right when it costs me. Let my integrity be deeper than my image. Let my convictions be lived, not just spoken. Let me choose honesty when it would be easier to hide. Let me choose courage when silence feels safer. Let me remember that light is not meant to blend in with shadows, but to expose them with tenderness and love. And in the quiet moments when the day pauses, when I find a sliver of silence between the noise, let me return again to this place of prayer. Let me remember that I do not have to do it all alone, that you are my source, not my own strength, that I am not holding everything together, you are, that my worth is not tied to how much I can carry, but to how often I lay it down before you. As the world moves fast, let me move with purpose. As demands rise, let me respond with peace. As needs present themselves, let me offer what I can with love and trust you with the rest. And when I reach the end of this day, may I look back not measuring how much I did, but how closely I walked with you. Let that be enough. Let that be the rhythm that carries me into every tomorrow. Father, as I continue this unfolding journey with you, my heart remains tender from the nearness you have poured over me in these quiet hours. With every breath, you have been drawing me closer to a place of peace, not dependent on circumstances, a joy not dictated by outcomes, and a love that is not earned but received. As I linger longer in this sacred space, I feel how each word whispered into your presence becomes a thread in the tapestry of my trust. And in that trust, I find my deepest rest. You are not only the God of my mountaintops, but also the God who walks with me in the valley shadows. The sunlight on my skin and the ache in my soul are both known to you. The parts of my life that feel ordered and blooming, and the corners still barren or tangled in questions, none of it escapes your loving gaze. You are not impatient with my process. You are not surprised by my slow growth. You remain faithful in all seasons, whether I flourish or falter. Help me today to see that what seems like waiting is not wasted. The world moves so fast, and I often feel pressure to produce, to prove, to arrive somewhere impressive. But you are far more interested in who I am becoming than how quickly I get there. You are shaping me in stillness, in surrender, in silence. Let me not resist the quiet spaces where you are doing deep work beneath the surface. Let me trust that unseen roots matter just as much as visible fruit. Let your voice be louder than my doubts. There are days when fear dresses itself as logic, when worry masquerades as responsibility. But you call me into freedom, not anxiety. You lead me with peace, not panic. When I am unsure, let me pause, not spiral. When I am tempted to rush, let me return to this place where stillness speaks. When my emotions rise like storms, let your truth be the calm that steadies me. Anchor me in the confidence that I am held by a hand that never lets go. And Lord, guard me from becoming numb. It is easy to grow calloused in a world that often wounds and overwhelms. It is tempting to self-protect, to shut down what feels too heavy to carry. But I do not want a hardened heart. I want a heart that still feels, still breaks for what breaks yours, still rejoices with the good. Let me not confuse cynicism with wisdom or apathy with safety. Keep me soft. Keep me available to compassion, even when it costs something. Teach me to listen well, not just with my ears, but with my presence. To listen to the people around me with patience, without rehearsing my response. To listen to the cries that are not spoken aloud. To listen for your whisper amid the noise. May I not be so busy speaking that I miss what you are trying to show me. Make me attentive to what matters, even if it means laying aside what only distracts. Train my spirit to hear, and then to follow. Give me eyes today that are not clouded by comparison. It is so easy to measure myself against the visible parts of others' lives. To assume their confidence means they have no battles. Their smile means they carry no weight. But only you see beneath the surface. Only you know the full story behind every face. Let me not compare my process to someone else's highlight reel. Let me celebrate others without diminishing myself. Let me find joy in both my journey and theirs. Help me to speak words that carry your fragrance, words that heal, not wound, words that call others up, not tear them down, words that linger with hope long after they are spoken. Let my language be rooted in truth, wrapped in grace, and delivered with humility. Let what I say reflect the one I walk with, and when silence is more loving than speech, help me to honor that too. Make me a safe space for others, a person who listens more than lectures, who reflects light, not shadows. God, I long to live honestly today, to not pretend or posture, to not edit myself for approval or mute my real thoughts for fear of rejection. Let authenticity be my posture, knowing that I am loved as I am, not as I perform. Let my yes be true and my no be gentle. Let my boundaries be built on wisdom, not guilt. Let me walk in the kind of humility that owns my flaws without being defined by them, that admits when I am wrong but still stands on what is right. There will be interruptions today. Unexpected requests, delays, frustrations. Instead of resisting them, help me to meet them with grace, to ask not just why is this happening to me, but how might you be moving through this? Help me to loosen my grip on my plans and trust that you hold the bigger picture, that what feels like a detour may actually be the most direct route to deeper dependence on you, that the things I label as inconvenient may be the very places where you are inviting me to grow. Thank you for the people in my life, even those who challenge me. Teach me to love beyond comfort, to extend patience where I feel stretched, to forgive even when my pride resists. Let my relationships be marked by kindness, not control. Let me seek to serve, not to impress. Let me see others not as problems to solve, but as people to cherish. Let me notice the lonely, honor the overlooked, and offer gentleness where the world offers judgment. Protect me from distraction masquerading as productivity. So much of what demands my attention is noise, not nourishment. Help me discern what truly matters, what carries eternal weight. Let me not sacrifice presence at the altar of progress. Let me not miss sacred moments because I was too consumed with checking off tasks. Teach me to prioritize what leads to life, not just what fills my time. When insecurity whispers that I am not enough, remind me that I was never meant to be everything. I was meant to rely on you. I do not have to carry the world. I do not have to fix every broken thing. I simply have to be faithful with what is in my hands and trust you with the rest. Let that truth unclench my fists, soften my heart, and lighten the load I try to carry on my own. Let gratitude be the lens through which I see this day. Gratitude that I am alive, that I am loved, that I am never beyond your reach. Gratitude for the small gifts, the way the wind moves through the trees, the rhythm of my breath, the warmth of water, the kindness of a stranger. Let gratitude guard my joy and ground my perspective. Let it keep me humble in abundance and anchored in lack. Father, let today be a reflection of the trust I am cultivating here with you. Let it not be a compartmentalized hollowness reserved for quiet moments, but a lived reality in meetings and errands and meals and conversations. Let your presence color everything, not as a filter to hide behind, but as a light that brings out the truest hues of who I am becoming in you. As the morning deepens and the world awakens around me, I rise not just into a new day, but into a renewed awareness of your nearness, into a confidence that I do not walk alone, into a rhythm of grace that moves slower than striving, steadier than fear. I walk forward now with open hands, trusting that wherever I go, you go with me. Lord, as the morning unfolds in steady grace, I carry with me the hush of your presence from the hour before. My steps feel steadier, 'cause you were the first one I turned to, not the last. And now, as the world around me begins to move faster, I ask you to help me move differently, not at the hurried pace of anxiety, but at the sacred rhythm of surrender. You are not pushing me to rush. You are inviting me to walk with you. Even in moments when I forget how close you are, remind me in the stillness between breaths that I am not alone. You are not watching from a distance, but walking beside me, whispering wisdom that quiets the noise of uncertainty. You are not shouting instructions from the heavens, but gently guiding me through the whispers of peace that only come when I pause long enough to notice. There is a kind of confidence I want to walk in today, not born from my skill or my strength, but rooted entirely in who you are. That when I speak, I am not performing, but reflecting. That when I work, I am not striving, but partnering. That when I rest, it is not from laziness, but from trust. You did not create me to be a machine. You created me for communion, and every part of my day can be worship when my heart stays aligned with yours. Let my hands be open, Lord, not just to receive, but to release. There are burdens I have carried that no longer belong in my grasp. There are expectations I have placed upon myself that you never asked me to carry. There are fears that have outlived their usefulness and doubts that have taken up too much space. Help me to loosen my grip, not because I have given up, but because I am giving in to your way, to your wisdom, to your gentle leading. When I encounter challenges today, give me the clarity to see beyond them, not to pretend they do not exist, but to view them through the lens of faith. You never promised life without struggle, but you did promise presence within it. Remind me that every obstacle can become an altar when I offer it back to you, that even closed doors are not rejections, but redirections, that what feels like the end might simply be an invitation into a deeper kind of beginning. Make me tender again in the places where I have grown guarded. Life has a way of hardening what once was soft. Disappointment builds walls. Hurt teaches us to protect. But you, Lord, are the healer of hearts, not just the fixer of situations. You do not just mend what is broken, you renew it. So do that in me. Peel back the layers I have used to shield myself, and help me feel again, love again, hope again. Let me not be so focused on what is ahead that I miss what is right in front of me. The faces I see today are not interruptions, they are assignments. The small conversations are not insignificant, they are divine appointments. Slow me down enough to see the sacred hidden in the ordinary, to speak life instead of rushing past, to notice beauty instead of numbing out, to live fully instead of just getting through the day. Teach me how to love without agenda, not to be kind so I will be noticed, or generous so I will be rewarded, but to love because it is who you are, and therefore who I am becoming. Let me look for opportunities to lift someone else without keeping score. Let my compassion be real, not rehearsed. Let my motives be pure, not polished. Let me give without demanding anything in return, and trust that you see what others never do. Lord, when I am tempted to measure success by how much I have achieved, gently redirect me to measure by how much I have obeyed. It is not about what I build for myself, but how I have responded to you. Success in your kingdom does not always look like applause. It often looks like quiet faithfulness, like showing up when no one notices, like doing the right thing when it is inconvenient, like loving those who may never love me back. Let me find joy in obedience, even when it is quiet and unseen. Surround my thoughts with your truth. So often, the battles I face are not external, they begin in the mind. Lies disguised as logic, shame cloaked as memory, insecurity whispering through familiar scripts. But you, Lord, speak a different narrative over me. You call me chosen, beloved, equipped, enough not because I have earned it, but because you have declared it. Let your voice be the one I return to again and again. Give me discernment in the choices I face today. Some decisions will be easy, others more complex. But you are not a God of confusion. Your peace often accompanies your direction. And where peace is absent, I ask you to pause my steps. Let me not rush into things that are good but not right. Let me not fear missing out, because nothing you have for me will require me to abandon wisdom or violate peace. Align my heart with yours so that I may know which way to go. And when I fall short, because I know I will, remind me quickly that grace still covers me, that failure is not final, that growth is often messy, that you are not expecting perfection, only proximity. Help me not to wallow in guilt, but to rise with humility, to confess quickly, forgive fully, and keep moving forward in freedom. Let grace be my rhythm and mercy my melody. Be near to those who are hurting today, even if I never see their pain. For the ones walking through grief, confusion, loneliness, or fear, let your comfort meet them in unexpected ways. Use me, if you will, as an answer to someone's quiet prayer. Make me interruptible. Make me willing. Make me aware. Protect me from the subtle idols that try to steal my focus. The need to be liked, the pressure to perform, the lure of control. They promise peace, but always deliver bondage. Instead, help me chase what is eternal. Let my desires be purified, my ambitions aligned with eternity. Let the deep hunger of my heart be for more of you, not more of what fades. Lord, let the way I carry myself today reflect where I have been with you. Let there be a calm that does not make sense, a gentleness that stands out, a confidence that has nothing to do with ego. Let others encounter something different in me, not because I am special, but because I have been with the one who is. Let my presence leave traces of you wherever I go. And even as this moment of stillness begins to transition into motion, let the posture of my heart remain the same. Let this not be the end of our time, but the beginning of a conversation that continues all day. Let prayer not be what I do in the morning, but the atmosphere I carry into every task, every place, every interaction. This is the day you have given, and I want to live it fully, not as one racing through it, but as one rooted in you, not as one overwhelmed by it, but as one who walks with courage, not as one focused on outcomes, but as one faithful in each moment. Let this day be sacred, not because it is free from trouble, but because it is filled with you. Father, as I continue to carry the peace you planted in me at the beginning of this morning, I realize how much I depend on your steady presence to navigate even the smallest moments. What began as a whisper between you and me is now becoming the rhythm of my breath, the intention behind my steps, and the stillness behind my decisions. I do not want to lose this nearness as the day deepens and distractions grow louder. Let your voice remain louder still. In this unfolding day, Lord, give me the strength to remain soft in a world that often praises hardness. Help me resist the urge to build walls where you invite bridges. When I feel the sting of misunderstanding or the ache of being overlooked, teach me to respond with grace rather than retreat into silence or bitterness. The strength you offer is not made of stone, but of stillness, not of defense, but of depth. You showed us what it means to carry gentleness wrapped in authority, to walk with power cloaked in humility. Let me speak today with intention, not from a place of performance or pressure, but from a heart rooted in compassion. When words rise in my mouth, may they be filtered through kindness. May I remember that every person I encounter carries a story I cannot see and wounds I may never know, even when truth must be spoken. Let it come wrapped in mercy, even when boundaries must be drawn. Let them be anchored in love. Use my voice not as a weapon but as a vessel. Lord, refine my vision, not just the way I see others, but the way I see myself. So often I look in the mirror and measure my worth by what the world celebrates: productivity, appearance, perfection. But you see past all that. You call me by name before I have achieved anything. You love me with a depth that does not depend on what I do but on who you are. Remind me that my identity is not found in my performance, but in your presence. And yet, Father, there are days when weariness sets in before noon, when the weight of expectations, both spoken and silent, begin to pile on my shoulders. On those days, let me return to this stillness, not to escape my responsibilities, but to exchange my burdens. You never asked me to carry what crushes me. You asked me to cast it on you. Help me not to push through in pride, but to pause in surrender. Teach me that rest is not weakness, it is worship. As my schedule unfolds, guard my priorities from distortion. It is so easy to chase what sparkles and ignore what truly matters. Keep me rooted in what is eternal, not just what is urgent. Let me not confuse business with fruitfulness. May I measure the value of my time by how well I love, not how much I accomplish. Help me to recognize when my soul is stretched too thin, and to return quickly to the well that never runs dry. Father, fill my mind with your thoughts so that my inner world is a garden of truth rather than a battleground of fear. When anxiety knocks, let peace answer the door. When lies whisper, let truth speak louder. When insecurity creeps in, let me hold fast to what you have already declared. Let no mental script play on repeat unless it was written by you. Rewire my patterns of thought until they lead me into freedom instead of fear. Help me remain curious instead of judgmental, to ask questions instead of assuming I already know, to listen more than I speak. Let me enter each conversation today as a learner, not a lecturer. Let humility be the lens through which I view others and myself. You are still teaching me, molding me, refining me, and because of that, I never want to close myself off from what you are trying to show me through the voices around me. Lord, protect the quiet places of my heart, the secret spaces where dreams still live and longings wait quietly for their time. I know not everything is meant to happen right now. I know some prayers are slow-growing seeds. So give me the patience to wait without frustration, and the trust to believe that delay is not denial. Let me not trample what is sacred by trying to force what only you can unfold. Even in disappointment, remind me you are not distant, that you sit with me in the waiting, weep with me in the loss, and whisper hope even in the silence. When I do not see the way forward, you are still the way. When answers do not come, your nearness is enough. Let me not anchor my hope in the outcome, but in your unchanging nature. You are faithful in ways I have yet to fully understand. Make me faithful with what is in my hands. I may not have everything I want today, but I do have something. A task, a relationship, a moment. Help me steward the now instead of obsessing over the next. Let me do small things with great care. Let me show up fully even when it feels ordinary. May I trust that faithfulness in the unseen places prepares me for whatever comes next. Lord, keep bitterness from finding a home in me. Life can bring wounds, some fresh, some old, but I do not to let those wounds define me. I want to heal. I want to forgive even when it hurts, even when it feels undeserved, because you forgave me long before I even knew to ask. Let me extend that same mercy, not because I feel like it, but because I am free to. Let my forgiveness not be limited by feelings, but liberated by grace. Surround my home with peace today. Let the atmosphere not be defined by tension, but by trust. Let laughter echo through the halls, not because everything is perfect, but because joy is deeper than circumstance. Let love be the language spoken, even when conflict arises. Make my home a place where hearts are nourished, not just bodies. Where presence matters more than performance. Where grace is practiced, not just preached. Give me the courage to be honest with others, with myself, with you, to speak the truth even when it is awkward, to name my pain instead of numbing it, to ask for help instead of pretending I am fine. Vulnerability is not weakness when is offered in the light of trust, and you are a safe place. Always, you do not despise my humanity, you entered it. You are not scandalized by my struggles, you meet me in them. May I never outgrow my wonder. The sunrise still whispers glory. The laughter of a child still carries heaven. The feel of the wind on my skin. The scent of rain on the pavement. The taste of simple bread, all of it speaks of you. Open my senses to receive the world not with boredom, but with reverence. Let me not rush past the miracles, because I have grown too familiar with them. And Father, when I reach the end of this day, may I be able to look back without regret, not because everything went smoothly, but because I remained present, because I loved deeply, because I listened well, because I returned to you again and again. Let this be a day marked not by perfection, but by presence, your presence. As I move forward now, help me carry the aroma of this sacred time into everything I do. Let it linger in my words, rest in my decisions, saturate my interactions. Let it soften the hard places in others as it has in me. Let it point people not to me, but to you. Let it be a quiet reminder that heaven is near. Even here, even now, Lord, you who know the weight each heart carries and the silence that hides behind every morning smile, I come to you once again, following the whisper of hope from yesterday into the quiet of today. The soft unfolding of this new dawn reminds me that even in the weariness of continued battles, your presence is the rhythm that keeps my soul steady. As my heart lingers in the peace of your nearness, I am reminded that strength does not always roar, it often breathes gently. In stillness, in trust, in surrender. So I bring all that I am unfinished, unsure, but unwavering in my need for you, and place it at your feet, because I cannot walk forward unless you walk before me. You have been my shelter when the winds of uncertainty howled through my plans. And now, Lord, as I face another stretch of unknowns, I do not ask you to remove them, but to help me rise within them. Let the anxiety that tries to steal my clarity be calmed by the assurance that you are not only aware but deeply involved in every detail of my unfolding day. I know I will face choices today, some loud and demanding, others subtle and easily dismissed, so please give me discernment to hear your still, small voice above the noise of this world. Teach me to wait on you, not with clenched fists of frustration, but with open hands of faith that trust your perfect timing. When I am tempted to prove my worth through what I achieve or how well I perform, remind me that I am already chosen, already loved, already called by name. Let me not hustle for approval, but move in the quiet confidence of someone whose identity is rooted in eternal grace. May I not chase the illusion of control, but lean into the deeper truth that you hold all things, every outcome, every conversation, every moment in your sovereign hands. And when fear whispers that I might fall short, may I remember that your strength is made perfect in weakness, and it is okay if I am not enough, because you are. God, I ask for a heart that forgives quickly and holds lightly. If offense finds its way to me today, do not let it take root. Make me quick to extend grace, not only to others, but also to myself. You know the expectations I place on myself, the pressure to keep everything in order, the silent shame when I cannot. Free me from the heavy armor of perfectionism and clothe me instead with humility, with peace, with the garments of your spirit. If I stumble, help me not hide in shame, but run boldly back into your presence, trusting in the mercy that never runs dry. Today, Lord, teach me how to live fully present. Help me to listen more deeply to the people around me, to pause long enough to see the sacred in the ordinary, and to notice the quiet beauty you have hidden in places I often rush past. Let my words carry healing, not haste. Let my actions reflect kindness, not just productivity. And when interruptions arise, shift my perspective so I may see them not as burdens, but as invitations to grow in grace. Let the moments that do not go according to plan become holy ground where I meet you again and again. Strengthen my resolve, God, not in my own willpower, but in the gentle persistence of your Spirit at work within me. Help me be consistent in the unseen spaces, the thoughts I nurture, the prayers I whisper, the integrity I uphold when no one is watching. Let me find joy not only in success, but in obedience, not only in answered prayers, but in the journey of trusting you with what I cannot yet understand. Protect my peace, guard my heart, and steady my mind. Keep me anchored in truth, not tossed by opinion or distracted by comparison. And Father, if I encounter moments today that leave me breathless, whether in awe or in sorrow, may I always turn to you first. Let my instinct be prayer, not panic. Let my response be trust, not retreat. Even if what I carry today is invisible to others, you see it fully. You understand it completely, and you walk with me through every valley. through every celebration, through every ordinary hour that unfolds. I need you in all of it. I want you in all of it. So I rise now. Not because I have everything figured out, but because I know you go before me. You hem me in behind and before. You are already where I am going. You are in the room I will walk into, in the conversation I will have, in the silence I will sit in. Thank you for never asking me to be more than human, but always inviting me to rest in the one who is fully divine. Thank you for calling me yours, even on days when I forget who I am. Thank you for meeting me again and again, right here in the morning, and as this day stretches before me, with all its unknowns and opportunities. May I walk in the calm certainty that I am held, I am led, and I am never alone. God, in the quiet hush that follows my last reflection, I draw even closer to you, as though each word whispered in the silence brings my soul deeper into the shelter of your presence. I sense that you are not distant, but ever near, gently wrapping your peace around every unsettled corner of my mind. You have a way of entering the most fragile places within me without needing to force the door open. Your nearness soothes me. You are the calm in the swirl of my thoughts and the anchor when emotions rise like waves on a stormy sea. And now, Lord, I continue to pour out my heart to you with the expectation that you are listening, not just hearing my words, but understanding the cry underneath them. Sometimes I wake up carrying burdens I can't explain. Father, they are like shadows from a dream I can recall. Lingering in the atmosphere of my heart, I may have rested, but I did not feel restored. And yet, I bring even that awareness to you this morning, trusting that you do not despise it. You receive me not only in strength but in frailty, not only in praise but in pain. I do not have to pretend to be whole before you, because you love me even in my brokenness. That thought alone lifts some weight. You allow me to breathe without judgment, to be without performance. There is freedom in being known by you. I confess that my mind is often pulled in many directions toward what I must do, who I must care for, what I must solve. But here, in this sacred pause, I let go of all the lists and lean into being rather than doing. I simply want to sit at your feet, Lord, the way Mary did, not striving to impress you with my faith, but resting in the assurance that you already see my heart. I have spent so long trying to be worthy of love, but you remind me that I am already loved. And in your presence, that is enough. You see how fragile my hope can be. Father, some days it flutters like a candle flickering in the wind, barely holding on. But even that tiny light is not insignificant to you. You nurture it, guard it, and breathe life into it. I ask you to help me protect my hope, not with shields of denial or distraction, but with truth. Let your promises be the foundation I stand on, not my emotions or my circumstances. When disappointment whispers that nothing will change, let your voice thunder louder, declaring that you are still working in unseen ways. Let me cling to that, God. Teach me how to wait without growing cold. Waiting can be such a lonely space. It often feels like I am walking through fog, unsure where the road ends or what is ahead. But in this season, may I not mistake silence for absence. May I remember that seeds grow in darkness before they bloom in the light. Help me to trust the process, even when it feels invisible. Your timing is perfect, and though I do not see the full picture, you are painting it with care and intention. Let me also be mindful of those around me today who carry silent sorrow. Make my heart tender to them, so I do not rush past their pain with cliches or cold encouragements. Give me eyes that see and words that soothe. Let my presence be a gentle reflection of yours. I do not want to love people only when it is easy or convenient. Teach me to love sacrificially, patiently, kindly, especially when it costs me comfort or pride. That is the kind of love you pour into me daily, and I want to give it away generously. Lord, remind me to rejoice in small miracles, the smell of coffee in the morning, the sound of birds returning at dawn, the softness of sunlight breaking through a cloudy sky. These are not just coincidences. They are traces of your affection. Even when big answers delay, you are still whispering through beauty and rhythm, breath. I do not want to overlook these signs of your faithfulness, because I am so focused on what has not yet arrived. Train my heart to notice, and in the noticing, to give thanks. I come to you not as a perfect vessel, but as a willing one. I may be chipped by life, cracked by grief, or dulled by repetition, but I know that you pour grace into the imperfect. You shine through the gaps, so let me be available today, open to being used by you in ways I do not expect. Interrupt my plans with divine appointments. Use my ordinary hours to do something eternal. Let my weakness be a doorway through which your strength enters and transforms. When the world becomes loud and urgent, Father, be the stillness I return to. Draw me back again and again to this quiet surrender when my own thoughts rise to accuse or discourage. Let your truth silence them. I want your word to be the filter through which I hear everything else. Let it be the melody that drowns out anxiety, the rhythm that steadies my steps, the compass that guides my decisions. I need you to lead, not just generally, but moment by moment. You are my refuge, not just from the storm, but even in the gentle drizzle of doubt or the dry seasons of numbness. In all states of my heart, you remain. I have tried to fix myself before running to you, but now I know that you are the place I heal. I do not have to earn rest. I receive it from you. I do not have to find peace. You give it freely when I seek your face. And so I seek not for answers, not for escape, but for you alone. Lord, this day is a blank canvas, and I surrender the brush to you. Paint something on it that reflects your heart, whether that means laughter or learning, challenge or comfort. I trust that if you are in it, it is meaningful. Let nothing be wasted. Even what seems small or tedious, may it be sanctified by your presence. I give this day to you not as a transaction, but as a gift, a willing offering of time and breath and hope. And now, as this moment of prayer stretches into the unfolding morning, I carry your stillness with me like a soft light. I know you go ahead of me. I know you walk beside me. I know you dwell within me. What more could I need? You are enough. Father, as the hush of morning continues to unfold around me, I carry forward the quiet light you have placed within my spirit. The stillness you offered me in the last moment has not disappeared. It breathes with me now. pulsing softly like the rhythm of grace, even as the world outside slowly comes alive with its sounds, responsibilities, and scattered movement. I hold on to this sacred pause as a shelter for my soul. I do not want to rush ahead of you. I want to remain in sync with the heartbeat of heaven, sensitive to the whispers of your spirit, responsive to the slightest nudge of your will. You have reminded me, again and again, that peace is not the absence of conflict, but the presence of trust, and so I trust you. Even here, Lord, I lift to you the moments I do not yet understand, the questions that hang in the air without answers. I know that you are not intimidated by uncertainty, nor are you limited by my lack of clarity. You are already in the next hour, the next decision, the next unfolding circumstance. You see the intricate web of what will come, and in that knowledge, you remain perfectly calm. I want that same calm to rule in me. I ask you to help me let go of the illusion that I must know everything to move forward. Teach me to walk by faith and not by sight, to take the next step even when the path is dim. For when I walk with you, every step holds purpose, even the ones that feel small or unseen. God, when I feel the tug of discouragement or the weight of comparison, gently redirect my focus. Let me not measure my life against another's timeline or their visible outcomes. My story is being written by your hand, and it unfolds in ways that cannot be compared. You are doing something specific and beautiful in me, and I want to remain faithful to that process. Help me to bless others without coveting their path. Help me to rejoice for them without questioning my worth. You are too wise to make mistakes, and too loving to withhold what is best. So I choose to surrender envy, pride, and restlessness. I make space again for joy. When I grow weary of waiting for answers, for healing, for change, remind me that waiting is not wasting. You are always working in the silence, always sowing seeds I cannot see. In the slow and hidden seasons, roots are growing deeper, foundations are being strengthened. Teach me to value the depth you are building, even when I cannot measure progress. Let me remember that faith matures in hidden soil, not only in visible fruit. And when impatience rises like a tide, let your presence anchor me again in stillness. You have not forgotten me, and you never will. Father, open my eyes to the sacredness of ordinary things. The simple rhythm of breath, the first sip of water, the warmth of sunlight through a window. These are signs of life, of mercy renewed, of grace freshly poured. I do not want to become blind to beauty just because it is familiar. Help me to see the extraordinary in the everyday. May I live with a sense of wonder, knowing that every heartbeat is a gift, every breath a declaration that you are not finished with me yet. Let me approach this day not as a burden to endure, but as a field to walk through with you, watching, listening, gathering moments of meaning like wildflowers along the path. Teach me how to move through this day with intention. Lord, let me not be swept away by noise or distraction. Let my words be fewer but fuller, my actions quieter but deeper. Let my presence bring peace into rooms, not tension. Let my hands be quick to help and slow to harm. Let my heart be wide enough to hold the burdens of others without breaking under the strain. Fill me so that I may pour out. Strengthen me so that I may be gentle. You are not calling me to perfection, but to love. You are not demanding performance, but presence. Let that truth free me again today. God, as I face interactions and conversations ahead, remind me to listen more than I speak. Let my ears be tuned to the pain behind the words, the need hidden behind the posture. Sometimes the loudest cries come wrapped in silence. Make me sensitive to that. Let me offer more compassion than critique, more patience than pressure. May those who encounter me feel a glimpse of the grace I have received from you. I do not want to represent myself today. I want to reflect you. Help me to see interruptions not as inconveniences, but as invitations. The person who calls unexpectedly, the task I did not plan, the moment that veers from my schedule. Let me greet these not with frustration, but with curiosity. What if you are in them? Gently shifting my steps so I do not miss what matters most. May I have the humility to adjust, the wisdom to discern, and the grace to respond with kindness. My time is not my own, it is yours. Let me spend it wisely, guided not by urgency but by purpose. When moments of insecurity rise, when I feel inadequate, unseen, or not enough, let your truth be louder than my doubt. Let it speak into the cracks of my confidence. I am not defined by what I achieve, nor diminished by what I lack. I am yours. That identity is unshakable. That truth is my shelter. I do not need to impress or prove myself today. I only need to walk faithfully with you, and in doing so, I will have done enough. Father, help me end this day as I begin it with you. May I not rush past your presence when the tasks are complete or the fatigue sets in. May I finish with gratitude, reflecting not only on what got done, but on who I became in the process. Let me notice how you met me in conversations, in quiet moments, in frustrations, in laughter. Let me see how grace carried me through what I thought I could not handle. And if I forget to thank you in those moments, let me remember now, you never stopped walking with me. Not once. And even as this morning stretches into full day, let me remain tethered to this stillness. I may move, speak, labor, and plan, but underneath it all, let there be a gentle undercurrent of peace. Let me return here again and again, not just in the morning, but in the folds of the day when I need to breathe, to pause, to realign. Let me remember that I can always return to you. Always, Lord. As I draw this time of reflection to a close, I find myself not at the end of something, but gently stepping into something even deeper. The journey through these quiet mornings has not been a one-time ritual, but a steady unfolding, a soft awakening of the spirit. Each word, each pause, each surrender has brought me closer to the center of your heart. Even now, I can feel that same quiet pulse of grace anchoring me as I breathe in this moment. You have not rushed me. You have met me slowly, gently, and completely. And I am learning that presence is more powerful than pace. Father, you have taught me that sacred things grow in silence, and I have begun to crave that stillness, not as an escape, but as the ground from which I live. The noise of the world no longer holds the same authority. Its volume may rise, its demands may press in, but I carry a deeper sound within me, now the steady voice of your love, constant and unwavering. That voice steadies my hands, softens my heart, and expands my vision. It tells me I am not alone. It reminds me that every ordinary step can become holy when taken with you. I have learned to meet you not only in the quiet morning light, but also in the ache of waiting, the stretch of discomfort, the surprise of joy. You are there when I sit in stillness, but also when I stumble, when I speak out of turn, when I laugh too loudly or cry too long. You are not far when I fail, and you are not closer when I succeed. Your nearness is constant. Your love is not a reward, but a reality I am learning to live from. It changes how I carry myself through the hours ahead. It changes how I see others, not as problems to be solved, but as souls to be loved. It changes how I speak, not to impress, but to encourage, not to prove, but to bless. Lord, today and every day, I want to move forward with grace, not with striving. I do not want to cling so tightly to my plans that I miss your presence in the unexpected. I do not want to hold so tightly to controlled that I forget the beauty of surrender. Show me how to live with open hands. Teach me how to hold joy and grief in the same breath. Let me see that peace does not come when everything is resolved, but when everything is entrusted. You are more than capable. You are more than enough, and I am more than safe with you. When doubt creeps in again, as it often does, let this prayer echo within me as a song I can return to. Let it be the melody that drowns out fear, the rhythm that guides my steps, the harmony that steadies my heart when it begins to tremble. I do not need to be perfect today. I only need to be present, to be aware, to be honest with you and kind to myself, to pause long enough to notice what you are doing, even in what feels insignificant. For no moment is too small when it is touched by eternity. And when I feel overwhelmed, remind me that I do not need to carry what you have already offered to bear. I can let go of the weight of what ifs and should haves. I can breathe in trust and breathe out fear. You are not asking me to fix everything. You are inviting me to walk with you through everything. And there, in that simple invitation, I find peace not because everything makes sense, but because I no longer walk alone. God, thank you for meeting me here each morning. Thank you for not growing tired of my returning thoughts, my recycled fears, my halting faith. You receive me anew, each time, with the patience of a father who knows how fragile I am, and how deeply I long to be whole. You do not ask me to come strong. You simply ask me to come. And here, at the close of this chapter, I come again not to finish something, but to begin another day, another moment, another opportunity to love and be loved by you. I pray that whoever has walked through this journey with me has felt your nearness too, that in the quiet of each chapter, something softened, something settled, something came alive again. Thank you for the unseen ways you have moved in their lives, for the silent prayers that rose like incense, for the tears that became seeds, and for the hope that began to stir once more. You are always doing more than we know. Always sowing. Always shaping. Always redeeming. To the one listening now, thank you for allowing your heart to be still, for choosing to enter into this sacred space. This prayer was not written for perfection, but for connection, for the soul that needed to remember is not forgotten, not lost, not too far gone. You are deeply known and profoundly loved. Every morning is a new mercy. Every breath is a new chance. Every step is another echo of God's gentle invitation. Come, walk with me. If something in these words has stirred your heart, share it, not for applause, but for encouragement. Leave your reflections, your prayers, your stories below. You never know who might need to see that they are not the only one on the journey. This space is not just mine, it is ours, a shared altar, where hope is kindled again and again through each voice that dares to speak truth into the quiet. And if this has nourished your spirit, I invite you to stay connected. Subscribe to this channel so we can continue growing together, walking in faith and leaning into the light that never dims. Share this prayer with someone who may need it. Let the ripple of grace extend beyond these words into homes, hearts, and hidden corners where light is waiting to be found. Let us keep meeting here, in the early hush of morning, in the sacred space between waking and wandering. Let us continue to seek, to surrender, to be shaped by love. Let us believe, even on the hardest days, that healing is still possible, and joy is still worth reaching for. Outside, the sky is beginning to change. The first soft light spills across the horizon, gentle and unhurried. The world has not fully awakened yet, but it is beginning to breathe with color again. A breeze brushes through the trees, quiet as a whisper, cool as grace. And somewhere, a stream continues to flow unseen, steady, alive,